Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah. Shabbat Shalom. Giving all honor and praise unto the Most High King of all creation. Asking that He will guide my mind, my spirit, my body, my language, and my speech as I approach unto you, His people. May the Most High be praised. Is it live over there, Beck? Okay. Today is that day. As in last week's class, we touched on some things pertaining to marriage. This week, we have to continue on with our conversation pertaining to marriage. And if we don't get everything completed this week, we're going to move on to next week. I want to do a complete cipher of marriage and all the many assets of marriage. Marriage is a very important thing. It's the thing that's going to be needed, or should I say, it's the dynamic that is needed in this day and time for our people to restore back to the position of nationality as a nation, to move forward with force, power, and strength. Shabbat Shalom to all my brothers and sisters who are entering into the room. May the Most High be pleased with all that we do on this day to give Him Shabbat Shalom, to give Him His praise, His respect, His honor, and His due form of worship that can only come from His servants, His children, those that He loved best. Us, the people of Israel. All right, let's get busy, fam. Let's get busy. So go out, invite everybody, the little girl you might be interested in, or that guy you might be interested in for your daughter. However it goes, family, go out and invite everybody to the room so we can get this in. Because it's time for us to do our lesson. We waited a whole week for this, right, fam? We waited a whole week for this. So now we are finally here. The time has come. Let's get it in. Last week we touched on the portion of concubinage, where we discussed things pertaining to the concubine and the many different facets of being a concubine, allowing people to understand and to know that a concubine is not a negative thing. Actually, a concubine can be a very positive thing. Letting people, the family, letting everyone understand and know also that a concubine is a wife. She has a different title. She's a servant wife. Babe, can you cut that heat off over there, please? It's getting hot up in here. Got me hot up in here. Boy, y'all got me sweating. So let's get it on. Let's get it on. We got so much to talk about today. We got so much to talk about. Listen, here's the rules. This is what I would like for you to do. Please, I would like for you to write down your questions on a piece of paper while we're teaching. Anything that enters your mind that you would like to have us to address, please write the questions down. And then after we finish the lesson, we're going to go through a question and answer portion, and we're going to talk about a lot of the things that we discussed. And we're going to answer as many questions as the Most High allows us to answer. So please, let's walk in that fashion, okay? Can everybody hear me? Is my voice being heard good? Can everybody hear Prince? Prince getting it in? He ready? Y'all ready to walk with me? Y'all ready to travel? Let's travel, okay? I hope y'all understand the terminology of travel. Travel means you go into different dimensions. Travel means you're able to go with an individual where most common people are not able to go. So we're going to do some traveling. Talk to those people in secret societies about traveling. They'll tell you all about it. One of them might ask you, how old is your grandfather? Then you got to just tell them how old your grandfather is. I'll leave it at that. Let's go. All right. Shabbat Shalom to Kim. Shabbat Shalom. So as I stated last week, we had a very interesting lesson, and that lesson was about concubinage and how concubines work and operate, and how you take a concubine and what her duties are, her responsibilities, why she's a concubine, all types of good and wonderful things pertaining to a concubine that most people have no idea of what a concubine really is. The last thing I want to say is that I want to make this clear to everyone that we, as an up-and-coming nation, the nation of Israel, we, as an up-and-coming nation, have the right, we reserve the right to classify and give meaning and definition to any word that we choose. We don't have to take on the Europeans' terminology of what they say a word means. We can give it our own definition. We have the power and the ability to do so. We can give it our own understanding, and we can spread forth through the world, come together as a people and stand on solid grounds. And that gives that word or that definition or that meaning life. And that's what we have to understand, our power as a people, the power that the Most High has given unto us. In Hebrew, for those of us who speak a lot of Hebrew, we come out of New York. The family from New York teaches us a lot of Hebrew. And I would say most of the most fluent people that I know that are true Hebrew Israelites that I know that speak Hebrew, they come out of New York. One of my elders, one of my teachers, one of the great men in Israel, and I mean profoundly great men in Israel, Moreh Mishael, was one of the men who used to teach me portions of Hebrew. And if I had any questions, I'd call him up. And he didn't matter what time of the day or night it was. Moreh was just always there for you. He was just that kind of servant of the Creator. I kind of like rolled my motto after him, making myself available for the people any time of the day and night. It didn't matter as long as you showed him respect and honor. And you did so, and you was a studious individual, he wouldn't mind opening up his door, his time, or his home for you. Moreh was a great man. But Moreh used to teach us words that a lot of other Israelites or the European man didn't really pay too much attention to. Like the one word was ashgash. Ashgash was like trash. You know, we had our own Hebrew words that we used to use. Ashgash. How you say it? No, I don't say it like that. I say Ashgash. And if I'm wrong, Moreh will correct me. But that's the way I say it. You can say it that way. Just like I just said, we have the power to define how we going to say it. Absolutely. All right. And if you want to beat somebody, what you giving them? A makkah. You see? These are words that we come up and we create and we formalize and we understand and we bring it in together. It's called Hebrew because we are the Hebrews. All right? So enough joking. All right? Let's get serious, fam. We're going to get moving. This is a wonderful day. It truly is. And we're going to get into this marriage situation. We're going to bust it up. We're going to get it going good. So remember, the rules are that you write down your questions until the end of the service or the end of the lesson. And then at the end of the lesson, we're going to do a question and answer service, which probably will be longer than the lesson. Yeah, all right, Kyella. Real funny. It will probably be longer than a lesson, but it will be more intriguing than a lesson. See, in my spirit, I understand from the great elders who taught me that the student make the best teacher. So sometimes your student will teach you something that you thought you understood and knew, but the student will cause you as a teacher to have a greater understanding of what you thought you understood. That's what this is all about. So let's get started. We're going to start our readings today in the book of Exodus, the 22nd chapter. All right, we're going to start off with scripture today. Then we're going to go to the Europeans' man understanding of things. And then we're going to go back to our own. Okay, we're going to start our scripture reading today in Exodus, the 22nd chapter. We're going to be all over the place. So just make sure you reference where you want to have your question addressed to. You ready? Okay. Let's go. Exodus chapter 22, verse 16.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed.
What? Read that again.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed.
Let's break that down, because I know you'll understand what it means. But for those who don't, we're going to break it down. Okay? If a man, you know how we are, we cool dudes, you know, we got that little charisma, we suave, we got a little charm. Sometimes the girl might have her mind made up that she's holding her virginity till she get married. And then she meet one of them dudes, you know, one of them cool dudes, one of them cool Hebrews, laid back Hebrews, and he got that rap game in place. You know, kind of like, when, you know, that type thing, yeah. Like, you know, that type thing. So he got that rap game in place, and he goes and he starts laying it down. And the brother too heavy for the girl. He too deep for her. Some women are turned on by different things within men. And it doesn't matter how you got your mind made up that you're going to do a certain thing. The best way to avoid not going against your principles is to not involve yourself in the thing or the place where you know the possibility may happen. Because it just may be some slick dude sitting around the table with the words to make you light up inside. And all of a sudden you feel like, hey, I'm going to take a chance. I never done it before, but I'm going to take a chance. And I'm going to give myself to this man. So the word actually says, if a man, the word is ish for man. If a man, seduces, yapte, I'm gonna leave it like that, yapte. If a man seduces, that means he has to convince. That means he has to entice. He has to ignite something within you that had laid dormant. He had to bring out an emotion within you that you already had your mind convinced that I wasn't going to do such a thing. But when he put his thing down, boy, that thing was good. And you was like, oh, mesmerized, like he put you on the spell. This thing happens. Certain spirits click in that way. You know what I mean? What attracts one person may not attract nobody else. What attracts you, the other person might can look at that and say, that wasn't nothing. I don't feel that. But when that certain individual who possesses that certain spirit opens up your essence as a woman and you feel his presence inside of you, you sit back later and say, why did I do that? Or why did I let him? Believe me, bro, I know. I used to be in the world. I know how it go. I call myself Prince. You think that's for nothing? Hey, come on now. It's like, let's go. Let's get it in. The man entices or seduces the individual, the woman. Peta. Peta is the word related to patak. Does anybody know what patak means? Patak means to open. Very good. You are a wise young Hebrew student. Patak means to open. Pata is the word for seduce. So what they're trying to say is that he opens her mentally. He opens up her mind to a new ideal, a new understanding, a new way of seeing things. He pataked, he seduced, he educated her to a degree. He introduced something new to her that she wasn't accustomed to. And here he goes. She's mesmerized. She falls in that trance, or she just lets him. But the thing is, it shows that it's not a willing situation of her own without being patok. Or should I say patok? She was patok. And the Hebrew with the English, he opened up her mind. That's the word. And it says when a man, let me go back to the scripture, and if a man entices a maiden. Now, don't just think that that's talking about any old woman, because it's not. But at the end of this verse, I'm going to say that it is. Just to throw it out there so you'll get a little understanding where I'm coming from. So if a man entices a betula, betula is the word here being used for woman. So betula, they could have used the word alma. Alma meant just a young woman. She just was young. Alma is the Hebrew word for young woman. But he doesn't say that. The father doesn't say alma. The father says betula. Betula specifies a certain type of woman. And you know what type of woman that is? I know you got it already. I bet you. I know you got it because you sharp. It's a virgin. When a man opens up the mind of a virgin, in so many words is what the scripture is saying. When he opens up her mind and take her mind into places that she really ain't accustomed to, that she ain't even thinking about. He opened up, he seduced her, he convinced her of a certain thing. And she's a virgin. And he lies with her. What does that mean? He lies. He takes her. He has intercourse with her. He has sexual pleasures with this young virgin female, and he takes her virginity. Now let's think for a minute, fam, because it's very important what I'm about to say right here in these next couple of verses. And I don't want you to miss this point. Please pay special attention. We have a man who enticed a woman that was a young lady who was a virgin. So this is her first intercourse session. Pay attention, because I ain't going to teach you nothing that ain't right. Okay? This was the first time that this young lady had intercourse because she was a betula. Betula is a virgin. When this man opens up her minds and causes her to give her virginity to him, what is happening next is what we need to pay special attention to. And he lies with her. He shall surely endow her for what? To be his wife. Ho, 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 ho. See, our forefathers live in a whole totally different understanding of things. Our forefathers moved in honor and integrity way more than what we do today, living in this lifestyle that we're living in. We're playing games with these women. And brothers, I got to talk to you this way because a lot of us are so far behind on the integrity portion of things that we do things and later on regret that we did it, when if we moved in our integrity, we wouldn't did it in the beginning. You know how many people right now sitting in jail because they didn't make decisions based on their integrity? You know how many people right now is paying child support because they did not make decisions based on their integrity? Do you know how many women have been misused and abused because the man in the situation didn't move forward in his integrity? Now, a lot of brothers want to say the first thing, well, Prince, they had something to do with it too. Yeah, bro, they did. But you're supposed to be the master of this thing. You're supposed to be the Baal. You're supposed to be the head. You're supposed to be the Rabbi, the master of this thing. So if you are, don't blame the woman. We can't blame them. We have fallen victim. We gave up. We gave in to the teachings of this Western world that we live in. We became just like them. In our nature, in our culture, in our behavior, we have. Let's just keep it real. Now, I ain't talking about them no good, sneaky women. Move them to the side, kick them out. I'm talking about that Betula woman. Remember that Betula that I mentioned earlier? That Betula, that virgin that we as men, most of us, we seduced them. We entered into their minds. We used that. It was funny when I was breaking it down like it was me, right? But now, bro, look at yourself. Let's be real with this. Let's move them women to the side because they ain't got nothing to do with this. We the masters of this game. We men, we are in control of this. We run this house. This is our house. We do this. And we're going to have as many women as we choose to, but we should have it the right way. You understand what I'm saying to you? You don't take the juice and then get back to squeeze and say, I don't want you no more. You know, we don't wait till she raised her voice one time and put her out and say, you got to go. Or say, oh, I can't deal with women. They're disrespectful. So I got to take advantage and use and abuse them. No, that's not how we getting down. Huh? We can't get down like that. We're supposed to be honorable men. We're supposed to show the world how to live. Now, a lot of our people, their minds have been damaged and destroyed. So a lot of us don't know the proper way to move, the proper way to live, the proper way and when to open up our legs, or even as a man, when to ask a woman to open her legs. So today's lesson is going to tell you a whole lot about what you got to do, when you got to do it, and a lot of the women going to get to know what type of man to look for and what to expect from a man and how a man should properly approach a young lady and take her. I would advise a man that if he's going to go to the woman's husband, the young lady's husband, the Betula's husband, the Betula's father, if he's going to approach the Betula's father, make sure it's cool with the Betula first. Talk to the woman first and say, hey, listen, sis, I want to talk to your father about taking your hand in marriage. Do you think you would be interested in that? Because she might not want to do it. And you don't never want a woman to do things that she don't want to do. You don't never force a woman to do anything that she doesn't want to do. You know why? Because you won't get the proper results. She might do it, but she ain't going to give it all her energy. She ain't going to get all her strength. And if she's not going to give it all her energy and her strength, then there's no need for you to ask for it or to get it. Because it ain't coming in the same manner. Believe me, one thing I know about a woman, when a woman gives you of her own, oh man, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the power that she puts behind what she does. Okay? So you always ask for that patula. So the mind of our people have been damaged so bad that we need a lot of help. But we got to understand as men that a lot of men has damaged the mind of a lot of sisters. Not that a lot of sisters haven't damaged the mind of a lot of men. A lot of people like to flip the script. That's true. Because there are a lot of aggressive women who took good men and made them bad men. And now those good men don't want to be involved with no woman on that level no more. But that's not a good thing. A man needs to stand up and be a man. That's what this is about. Men, not males, but men. You ought to be able to feel that inside your essence when I say men. I'm not talking about boys. I'm not talking about males. I'm talking about men. It's a big difference. And a lot of people don't understand that. We have a major responsibility. We control the flow of how this thing is going to go. And if you don't, that's because you're a boy. You ain't a man. Just that simple. You got to know how to rule your house. You got to know how to be a man. But let me get back to the lesson because we're getting ready to go somewhere else. Let me stick back to the lesson, the point I'm trying to bring out, because this is most important. He shall surely endow her. We're in the book of Exodus, the 22nd chapter, verse 16. If a man entices, seduces, takes advantage of, or convinces her to, now I ain't going to say take advantage, because take advantage is more like in the way of rape. That's more like in the way of rape, something that's unacceptable totally, should never be done. If a man entices a maiden, convinces her to just freely give it up, and then he lies with her and have sexual intercourse with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Now, I used to read that scripture and I used to say to myself, what does that word endow mean? He should surely endow her. You know, I'm trying to take the English understanding. What does endow mean to you? What does endow mean? He should surely endow her. Take on what?
Endow,
what does it mean?
I think we're just reading it out.
Type it in the room what y'all think endow means. But go ahead, speak.
Just thinking about it, when you say he shall surely endow her, means he shall surely take her as his wife and produce her as his wife. Like anything he does now, he's going to show that she's his wife.
See, that ain't fair, because she probably was cheating this morning while I was writing my notes, because she got it 100% correct. She probably was just peeping over my shoulder looking while I was writing down the notes this morning. She's absolutely correct. When a man seduces this young woman, this virgin, now this means that he didn't go to the father and ask the father's permission. He went behind the back door and talked to the young girl and whispered some sweet nothings in her ear, and she went for it. He seduced her. He opened up her mind. He patok her. Okay? He opened up her mind. Patak. He opened up patak. He opened up her mind. He seduced her. Now, once he opened up her mind and he took her, then the father is saying, because of what you've done, this young woman is a betula, a virgin. You must make her your wife. He didn't give you no option, brother. So all you brothers, now I need you to go back, sisters. I need you to pay attention because it's your turn. And I know you were laughing when the brother was getting beat up. Now it's your turn. Here's your turn. Go back to your virginity and find that man that patok you. He opened your mind. Oh, I see him dropping off now. They dropping now. I want to hear that. They dropping off now. Go back to that man that first opened you up and get some understanding in how you did wrong. For some of us, it's many years ago. It's many years ago. Many sex partners ago. 30, 40, even 100. Some of us, we just that bad. Let's be real. Let's not hide. There's no shade going on. Women today are worse than a lot of men. They ain't got no guilt laying down with a brother. None. Oh, he looked good. Oh, he smelled good. Oh, he drove a nice car, so I gave him some. It's just that bad. It's the reality world we're living in today. But when you come into the knowledge of the Most High, all that change. I'm not talking about you sisters who in the knowledge and still living like you are heathen, because those are heathen practices. I'm talking to the ones who really want to get right before the Creator, who really want to stand as a virtuous woman in this day and time. You can't get back your virginity. You can't get it back. So the best thing you can do, think. I want you to go back in your mind to that first man that you lied down with and gave your virginity to, because that was the first time that you violated the laws of the Creator on that level. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. Why I'm saying it is this, because a lot of us, we want to come right before the Creator. We want to serve the Most High King. And sometimes we wonder why things ain't going a certain way in our lives, because you didn't go back and make the past right. You just allowed it to attach onto you and you move forward as if nothing wasn't going on. You never went back to the Creator and tried to ask for forgiveness of what you had done the very first time you stepped into the sexual nature. You understand? That's what you got to do, because these things are missing. We go to the Most High any way we want. With all them sex partners we had, a lot of us done tricked. We done sold our bodies to men. We done had, not me, because I don't get down like that. I'm speaking hypothetically, so you understand. Don't be trying to throw that game, twist up in the game. Don't do that. It's not good. A lot of us, we done gave ourselves to men. We done had all kind of orgies. We done, just because, whatever the reason was, you done had about 30, 40, 50 partners. Then you come on, step on the Hebrew scene, never ask the Creator for forgiveness or nothing, but the only man you want, since you're on the Hebrew scene, he got to have all this stuff in order. He got to have this. He got to have that. He got to look like this. He got to be as tall as this. His pocket got to be fat like that. You make all these demands on the man as if you're a Betula. And you got to remember, there's a lot of traffic that ran through you. Think about it. You're not special in that manner to the Creator. So the best thing that you can do, I would suggest the only thing that you can do, is make yourself special. How do you make yourself special? I'm going to tell you how you make yourself special, so that you can demand the best of the best. This is what you got to do. First thing you got to do is what I told you. Go back and remember that man, the first one that you gave yourself to. Now, if you happen to have been, your virginity was stolen from you, that's a totally different situation. Okay? If your virginity was stolen from you, we'll talk about that at another time. Something else needs to be done with that. But let's say your virginity was just freely given. I gave it up. Whatever the reason was. Now, you got to go back. Think about that first individual. Go back to the Most High King and ask the Most High for forgiveness. I don't mean, now listen, sis, I don't mean say, oh, Creator, forgive me for that guy I slept with. No, sis, I mean really, in all of your essence, give it up to the Creator. Fast, pray, weep, moan, because you have no idea of what you've done to freely give yourself to a man who had not taken you to be his wife. It is a violation of the Most High's laws, his sacred laws. You have allowed somebody to violate your temple, and he has not taken control of you. We Hebrew people, we don't get down like that. That is the ways of the Western European mindset. In most of the Hebrew culture, in most of the black people's nation, in most of the peoples of the past, we didn't allow these type of things to happen. And we found out that a man was sleeping with our daughter, we'd go kill him if he didn't come right. And she might get killed too along the way. It's just that real with us. But today, oh, I'm pregnant. By who? Oh, Jimmy around the corner. Oh, okay, well, all right, cool. At least we know who it is. And it's over. That's not how the way the Most High is pleased. You don't get the Most High pleased like that. We got to teach our children from their youth how to honor this king and the sanctity of their virginity. So after you fast, you moan, you weep, you cry, and you pray, and you ask the Most High for forgiveness. The most important thing you do after that is what the Most High says. Turn from your evil ways. Stop practicing, what do they call that? Promiscuity. Stop being so promiscuous. Do not give yourself to anyone. Even if it takes 10, 15 years for you to get married, do not give yourself sexually to anybody. The word that they use in English is intercourse. And I got to say it to you like this. I'm praying that we're all grown enough to understand it. That means no oral sex either. Please understand what I'm saying. You should not relate with a man on no sexual level unless he's your husband. All that oral sex, fellatio, and all that other stuff we're doing, that is reserved for your husband. Between a husband and a wife. It's not given as a form of just pleasure to any and everybody. That's not what a marriage is about. Marriage is about sanctity. Marriage is about a covenant between a man and a woman, or a man and Nashim, women. You understand? That's what a marriage is about. So sisters, if you think that you can serve the Creator and still have a dude over here and a dude over there and a dude over there, or if you think you can serve the Creator and have a dude that's not your husband that you just call up whenever you get a little horny, I'm telling you and I'm letting you know you're in violation. You can't serve this king like that. And brothers, if you think that you can just sex a girl and push her off to the side when you're done with her, because you done, you are unrighteous. And you ought to be dealt with in a very serious manner, for real. Now I got to come down on you harder because you're supposed to be the head. You're supposed to teach this thing from the rip. How a woman is supposed to be. How she's supposed to conduct herself. And if you just keep taking advantage of her, misusing, abusing, and pushing her off to the side, on to the next one, misusing, abusing, and pushing her off to the side, on to the next one, using, abusing, and pushing her off to the side, you are a whoremonger. And the Most High will deal with you. Another problem that we have is a lot of brothers want to take these women. Oh God, brothers, where we at? Where the real men in Israel at today? Brothers, we take these women. Oh, sis, we had sex. So you my wife. If you want to live by that, I'm with you. But live by that. What am I saying to you? I'm saying if you have sex with a woman and you tell her that's your wife and she says, yes, you my husband, and y'all living by that, then do it fully. Not just enough so that you can get that nut off and then you go ahead and go do your thing somewhere else. No, do it. Provide for that woman. Some of the scriptures we're going to read today, we're probably going to be here for a while, fam. Because I got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to talk about because we tricked up. You don't just have sex with that woman till you finish using her and then get rid of her and get another one. You don't use her and then, let me back it up. Let me back it up because y'all got me so excited. I got to back it up. First of all, if you're going to lie with this woman, make sure that you are prepared to take her on as a wife. You have a home that you can take her to. Because if you have sex with her and she go back to her daddy's house, except for the reason of getting her belongings, if you anything like Prince, I don't want nothing from her daddy's house. Everything you had prior to being my wife can stay right there with your daddy. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to provide. You understand? I don't want you bringing to bed. A lot of dudes, they broke. They can't handle it. If you're broke and you can't handle it, you shouldn't be taking a wife. You shouldn't be taking a wife. You should be single until you are in position to take a wife. So if she got to go home and get her bed and her dresser and her clothes from her daddy's house, then you don't need to be taking a wife. That's the first principle that I'm trying to share with you, fam. You got to understand what it means when a man takes a wife. He takes her unto himself. She is now his responsibility to provide for her. So when you take that woman, you take her to your home. You provide her with the things that come from you. That's how you get down. Babe, turn to Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, please. You take her to your home. You provide her with the things that she needs to maintain her life. Let me tell you, the things that you give to her will benefit you more than it will her. Why? Because once you get a woman happy and you keep that woman happy, as I said earlier, she will give to you of her own free will. She will get creative in her mind and start doing things to you that you didn't even know you wanted. And that you are totally pleased. Whoa, wait a minute. Where you learn that from? It's inside of her essence. You just got to patak her essence. You got to open it up. You got to open up her essence. And the way that you open up her essence is you do this. You put a distinction between a boy and a man. You move like a man. See, men take on responsibility. Men handle their business. And as long as you move like a man, she will give you like a woman, like she's supposed to. And there you go. Bang, there it is. Boy, I get started sometime, man. I'll be forgetting where I'm at. Let's read that scripture. Where we at? Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter of Deuteronomy. We're going to start at verse 11. Now watch this. Here's another way to take a wife of our ancestors that's going to show us how we, even today, are supposed to conduct ourselves. Deuteronomy 21 and 11. Read on, please.
Deuteronomy 21 and 11. And seest among the captives a beautiful woman.
Start at. Why did I do that? Start at 10. Let's see what 10 says.
Deuteronomy 21:10. When thou goest.
What did he say? When thou goest.
When thou goest forth to war.
To war. When thou goest out to war. Read on.
Against thine enemies.
Against thy enemies.
And the Most High thy power hath delivered them.
And the Most High has given you victory over your enemies.
Into thine hand.
Most nations who go out to war with another nation will kill the men and take the women and the young women to be their wives. Okay? Read, listen, pay attention. So what the Most High is saying is not something that's uncommon in the midst of nations. Read on. What does it say? Start up again in verse 10.
When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Most High thy power hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman.
Stop right there. When the Most High has allowed you to go out to war against the nations, and you're victorious in that battle, and you win it, and you kill off all the men, but now the booty is what you're looking at now. You know what the booty is? The booty are the spoils of war. The spoils of war are called booty. I wonder why. Women are booty. When you go out to war and you conquer, you got the booty. So if you see a beautiful Yafet Ta'ar, a beautiful body, Yafet Ta'ar, something that you are attracted to, and scripture says that, Yafet Ta'ar. If you see something that you are attracted to in the female gender, the Creator gave a set of commandments in what you are supposed to do for that woman. And I want you to take this to mind. Watch what the Creator has you to do. Read on. Start verse 11, please.
And seest among the captives a beautiful woman.
Seest among the captives a beautiful woman. Now you ain't paying for her. You're taking her to yourself. Watch what you do. Read on.
And hast a desire unto her.
You got a desire unto her. You want her. Now, you got a desire to this young lady on the street. You want her too, don't you? I know. Watch this. Read on. What does it say?
That thou wouldest have her to thy wife.
That thou would have her to thy wife. Wait a minute. She's a slave girl. You just killed her husband or killed her father. Why you got to wife her? Why can't you just do like the people do today and just have sex with her and leave her alone? There's a greater principle at work here. Even amongst the heathens or the Gentiles, the Most High don't want you showing corruption. So you can't just screw the woman and leave her alone. So if you can't do it with the heathens and the pagans, what make us think we can do it with each other? Think, family. Think. Why do we think we can just lay down with somebody or as a woman give yourself to somebody and there's nasty end of it, a one-night stand? Even when we went out to war in captivity. We killed off the men. The women that was left, the Most High says, and we see them. Read on, what it say?
Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house.
Thou shalt bring her home to your house.
And she shall shave her head.
She shall shave her head.
And pare her nails.
And pare her nails. Now the part what verse is that? 12? I want you to read verse 12 again. Now family, listen to verse 12. For all you men seeking a wife. What it says?
Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house.
Wait a minute. Did you hear what she said? The scripture says when you see that woman, she got that beautiful Yafet Ta'ar, that beautiful body, and you have a desire to have her as your wife, what are you supposed to do first? Think about what it says. Hear me. I'm going to try not to keep repeating it. You are to take her home to your house. So how can you have a wife if you ain't even got nowhere to take her? You sleeping in your brother's families, your uncles, your aunt's place. Well, you get them a couple, that's theirs, that belong to them. You don't have nothing of your own. Some of you still sleeping in the basement of your mama's house and got 2 wives down there with you. They foolish and you sinning. That's all I'm going to put out. So I'm going to put it out there. You in violation of the righteous code of ethics as a man. The Creator says when you take that woman, you just saw her. You out the war, you killing people. Then you done killed off all the men. You just saw her and you desire to have her. You desire her. You don't go move in her house.
That's right.
That ain't no man. That ain't what men do. And brothers, I applaud you. If you living in a house that belongs to your woman, get up and leave. Go until you are able to provide a place for her. You want to go visit? That's cool if you go visit. Then she can't be your wife, or you can't claim her as your wife until you are ready to take the responsibility of having a wife. I'm raising men. I'm not raising boys. I'm teaching boys how to be men. If you don't want to listen, disassociate yourself with my friendship, because I'm going to teach this. That's how it's going to be. You're going to walk with me, you're going to do it the right way. That's why most men can't live with me. I had 2-3 families come and live in my house so I can teach these men how to be men. And they all fail because them niggas want to play games. I ain't got time for the games. If we going to do this, we going to do it right. Or else we ain't going to do it at all. This one brother want to smoke weed and drink liquor and act like he a man. Don't no man do that. Well, where that's at in the scripture, Prince, you ain't got no weed, brother. We can have that talk whenever you ready to have that talk. Put the weed down, put the liquor down. Anything that impairs your mind, anything that impairs your thinking, put it down. We're going to pop a pill, get high today, and be sitting around looking like this for a couple hours. And you think it's cool, and it's not. It's not cool. It's not good. Leave it alone. Separate yourself from that. You know what part of the problem is? A lot of men don't realize we at war. We are at war. And you need all of your faculties at your disposal at any moment. You need it all. You can't be letting yourself get, even in the privacy of your own home. You can't get drunk. You can't get high. You can't lose focus because them niggas will kick your door in and run in here. You know how many people done died from people kicking their doors in the middle of the night and they was up there high? They was drunk. I know one dude, when I got incarcerated some years back, well, so what? I was locked up. So what? Who you know that was righteous that wasn't locked up? Shit, Moses was in jail, wasn't he? Yeah. Anyway. When I was locked up in jail, check this out. I was incarcerated a couple times in my life. But guess what? You know what the wonderful thing is? And I just got to say this just for the statement so you understand. I have never been convicted of any crime, period. So they just held me back for a minute. So when I was locked up in jail, this dude was locked up with me. I don't remember the guy's name. I used to call the boy Shoot 'em Up. Because he always walked around talking that gangster stuff like he was shooting him up. You know what I mean? So I used to call him Shoot 'em Up. That was my name for him, Shoot 'em Up. shoot them up, killed people. Like 6 people. Let me tell you what he did. You can look this up in the newspaper. Look up Lex Street murders. It happened here in Philadelphia, Lex Street, L-E-X, Lex Street murders. What this brother did was, he was sitting down with them. They was smoking, they was drinking, and they thought he was a friend. This nigga came to take their money. He came to rob them. So what did he do with them? He smoked, he drank with them, and after everybody got high and drunk, he pulled out his gun and killed everybody in the room. Took the money and left and got caught. He was locked up with me. He got caught. So what I'm getting back to the point is, you shouldn't even be smoking and drinking in the luxury of your own home. Leave it alone. Anything that impairs your mind from working at 100% proficiency, get away from it. Anything, even if it's a woman. If you got a woman that you're dealing with that you can't think straight when you with her, get her out of your life. Because you got to, as a man, you got to be 100% operating off of all cylinders at all times. You cannot afford to be, oh man, but she looks so good. You know what? The Father will hear that. You know what? The Father has a funny sense of humor. You know what he'll do? The Creator will give you over to your desires. If you allow a woman to become your God, the Creator will give you over to that woman, and guess what you'll do? You'll start wearing the skirt, and she'll start wearing the pants. She'll be like, what did I tell you to do? Be like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. Let me get that done. Hurry up. Let me go. Let me get that done. Because you're a weak man. Real men don't need to fight. Real men don't even need to raise their voice. All they need to do, your woman only need to think that this is what makes you happy when you on point. All she need to do is think that this is what will make you happy, and she'll do it. I know I lost you on that one. I was supposed to lose you. If your mind ain't ready for the game, I supposed to lose you. All right? The point I'm trying to make is, men, be men. Be honorable men. Move in your integrity. Okay? Women, be women. Be women of virtue. Strive after perfection and righteousness. If you as a woman have lost your virginity to a man way back many sex partners ago, even if it was only one sex partner ago, you go back to the Creator, ask the Most High for forgiveness. Ask him to forgive you of your sins and your iniquities. You fast, you pray, you weep, you moan, you mean what you say to the Creator, and you never do it again. That means you never give yourself to anybody else again, except that man is your husband. And not just that he's your husband, he has to take you the right way. Okay? Yeah, whatever. Leave the wine alone, Ock. It's not good for you, especially where you at. You out in the woods. You out in the woods, Ock. You in the dark. They creep up on you anytime. Your dog might not bark. You need to be aware. Don't do it. Leave it. Put it out of your house. Get rid of it. It's not good for you. Get away from it. And watch how different your life becomes. Leave that stuff alone, man. It's not good for you at all. So let's get back to the scriptures, okay? Let me get back to my readings. Oh, there's a little bit more in that verse that I want you to read in Deuteronomy 21.
Okay, I'm at Deuteronomy
21 and 10. Start at 21 and 12 again.
Deuteronomy 21 and 12. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house.
Then thou shalt bring her home to your house.
And she shall shave her head and pare her nails.
She shall shave her head and pare her nails. Now let me share this with you. So many men, and brother, don't think I'm talking about you particularly, but yes, I'm talking about you too. And you know who I'm talking about. So many men meet a woman and want to move up in the woman's house, want to live with the woman, want to give the woman everything that she's accustomed to. That's a mistake. Don't never, ever take a new wife and leave her in her old environment. Situation doomed for destruction. Don't never take a wife and leave her in her old environment. Don't never do that. If you take a wife, the Creator said, take her and put her in your home. That shows you that you're taking her, uplifting her, and putting her in a new environment. Let me give you a little bit of brief history story. You can go get all the scriptures you want to prove me wrong. But that's if we're living in a different time frame than where we living at right now. We living in hell. We ain't got time to be getting drunk and sleeping. We ain't got time. The brother probably had the heavy heart because he was drinking and something happened. Now he got a heavy heart again. Let's pay attention. Made me forget where I was at. Got me a little bit distraught. But anyway. Where was I at? It made me forget. I was having such a good time.
About the paring of her nails and
Oh, yeah. Let me get back. See, that's why you got to have yourself a good wife. She listens to you. You know what I mean? Them other ones that ain't good wives, they just pacify you. They ain't really paying attention. But when you got a good one, you can forget what you're doing and she be like, hey, you said you was going to do. And she'll remind you. That's how you know you got a good one. That's one of the signs. So let's get back. When a man takes a wife, as this man took this wife, he pared her nails. He shaved her head. All of those things are symbolic. All of those things are symbolic. I'm telling you, you can really cut them nails off. You can really bald her head. You can do all that. But it's symbolic of a fresh start, a new beginning. A woman is found to be beautiful from her physical appearance. You're attracted to her in a physical way. From her physical appearance. Her hair is 88% of that beauty. A woman's hair. The other part is her fingernails and how she keeps herself and how she moves, the spirit that she walks in. The most dominant of all of those is her spirit. If her spirit is right, none of that other stuff matters. If her spirit is the truth, the absolute truth, she could be walking around bald-headed and she'll be attractive to you and you'll want her as your wife. Let's get back to the nitty-gritty. The Creator is talking about this thing in symbolism. When you take her to be your wife, you cut her nails off, cut them all off to take away the, I'm too cute, that attitude. You want to get rid of that. The long, beautiful hair. Oh, shave it all off. What he's really saying to us is you have to get past the physical beauty. You got to make her mourn for 30 days. That old lifestyle that she used to live, she's away from that. You picked her up and you moved her away from where she used to be. So if she's been living in this community with these Israelites over here for 40 years, and now you're getting ready to take her to be your wife, she got to go to your community. You understand what I'm saying? You can't pack up and move in her community and think it's going to be peaches and cream, because it ain't. First of all, let me give you an example of what I'm saying for those of us who have that type of situation going on. That woman been living in that community for what? 10 years. Let's say 5 years. Let's say 2 years. Let's say 3. She's been living in that community for 3 years. She has men, because she's a single woman, if she is and if she ain't. If she got an ex, he's a part of that community. He's still there. But she has men looking over her. She's used to following those man's instructions and commands and doing things she should be if she's a good woman. She should be used to doing what that leadership, those men who are in charge of that community, has been instructing her to do. How much of a good time do you think you're going to have moving in that community trying to get her to do something other than what her leadership has been instructing her for the last 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10 years? Too difficult of a fight. There is no fight if you uproot her and move her in your own home. Look at them dropping off. They dropping off. They don't want to hear that. That's on y'all. Bye. See ya. Go. Skedaddle. Boot. See you later. You'll regret it later. What I'm trying to teach you is how to be from a male to a man. How men are to operate. How men are to move. I ain't got time to be playing boyhood games with you. I'm going to teach you how you do this thing. You don't marry a woman and leave her in her old environment. You marry a woman, you pick her up, you uproot her, and you drop her in your new environment for her. What am I saying? When I left off right before I was interrupted with that person that pulled up that scripture in the book of Psalms, This is what I was saying to you. Not that I got a problem with you pulling scriptures. You pull scriptures all day. I love it. I appreciate it. That shows me you're listening. I need that kind of energy. So sis, you keep on doing it, or bro, you keep doing it, whoever it was. I don't even know. It really don't matter. But here we go. This is what I was trying to say to you. In the ancient days, there was a man called Tiglath-Pileser who was a conqueror. He was an Assyrian king. And what he did, what Tiglath-Pileser did, I think Tiglath-Pileser was the father of a man named Sennacherib. And what Tiglath-Pileser did was he conquered the northern kingdom of Israel. When he conquered the northern kingdom of Israel, he was the first man to do this. He took all of the people and marched them out of the land. Took them out of the land and put them into a whole totally different environment so that he can work and control them like he needed to make them useful for what he had to do. You understand? A lot of us don't think like that. I'm telling you, bro, you gotta take a woman to yourself. To really be master of your woman, you have to take her. Now, I ain't saying nothing about being abusive of your woman. I ain't saying nothing about taking advantage of your woman. I ain't said nothing about misusing your woman. I said to be master of your woman. You pick her up, you uproot her out of her environment, and you place her somewhere that you provide for her. Okay? Oh, okay. That's cool. It's cool. I know it wasn't. It's cool. Listen, Thai, I don't think you would ever do. I'm not worried about that with you. And I want you to continue doing what you're doing. You continue to bring forth information that you think either supports or goes against. It doesn't matter, because so you would only make any righteous man is going to enjoy that. He's going to applaud that. And what he's going to do is he's going to go back, check it out. And if he's wrong, he's going to come back and say, you know what, fam, I told you something last week that wasn't right. Please forgive me. That's what a good, honest man is going to do. So you do what you do, sis, bro, Thigh, lovely, wound. I hope you're a woman. I pray that you are with the love, lovely. Oh, that's Nat's wife? Oh. Well, okay. Forgive me. Shalom. All right. Let's get it in. Here we go. See, I told you it was a good woman. There you go. Let's go. All right. See, so
what I was going to say about that?
What?
If I may.
What you going to say about what? Clarify what you going to.
When you take a woman and you take her to your house.
Uh-huh.
So I was just going to use us as an example. Like when we courted and we got married,
uh-huh.
You brought me here to Philadelphia, even though I didn't want to come here.
Uh-huh.
But later I realized the importance of being removed from what I was so comfortable in,
mm-hmm.
and like you said, under my leadership at the time,
mm-hmm.
to be under my husband solely.
That's right.
And even though it was my first time ever moving away from my family, but it was the most
humbling
time I had. What you say?
Humbling experience.
It was the most grateful time I had because I got to know myself in so many ways. And then I also got to know you separately from everybody else's knick-knacking in my ear,
yeah,
or opinions of what you should be doing for me or I should be doing for you.
Right.
It was just about us.
That's so important.
Bonding at that time.
It's so important.
So I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. Any other questions? Let's get it in. All right. I want to do some readings today. I think I might have talked about enough stuff for now about the scripture, and I want to go into some understanding, as I promised you earlier that I would, about how the Western mind state operates and how the Western mind state has been operating for many years. And also I want to talk a little bit about marriage and polygyny during this portion if I have the opportunity to. All right? We're not at the question and answer portion yet, so please forgive me. All right? We're not done. Thank you, Antoinette. But we're not done yet. We still getting it in. We probably going to be here for another 3 hours. It's like, all right, here we go. I want to read about polygyny first. Polygyny. I was watching a documentary. I was watching somebody's live yesterday, one of my brothers. And my brother said he's going to do a live he's going to write a book on polygyny. He's going to write a book about polygyny. And I pray that he does. It will be good. We need these types of things in the nation. The only thing is that I pray that he fully understands what polygyny is all about. Because a lot of us don't. Although we may be practicing polygyny, We truly don't understand the intricate, detailed parts about polygyny. So I do pray, and I would invite my brother to write your book. Do write your book, because even in the process of writing, you will learn things about what you're writing about. As long as you do the proper research and do everything correctly, you'll learn while you're writing. A lot of people take on nashim and women and don't understand what this thing is about. So let's talk polygyny. First of all, Prince qualifies and classifies as a polygynous man. I'm going to just let you know. I am polygynous. When you look up the word polygyny, you see a picture of Prince like, that's where I'm at. That's my spirit. I can't help myself. That's just who I am. It's in my soul. It's been that way for my whole life. Okay? Polygyny, this. They can't even get it all out. There you go. That's me. But here we go. A lot of men think because they have more than one wife, that is a good thing. And what I'm sharing with you is that it's not always a good thing. It's not always a good thing to have more than one wife. First of all, it could be a problem. Because if you can't provide for your nashim, that means you got to send them out to work outside of your home or any business that you have. You got to send them out to work to bring back money to help. That means that you really couldn't afford them in the first place. That means you couldn't afford them. Remember what the scripture that I read in Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, verse 11, verse 10. The Most High says, if you take a wife, you take her and you bring her into your home. Well, bro, if you ain't got a home, I don't care if you renting an apartment somewhere or anything, but you got to have something of your own to take her to. Not a room in your cousin's house around the corner underneath the basement. Not nothing like that. But something that you as a man can do and operate whenever you want, how you want, because that's where you want to do it. That's where you bring your wife to. Okay? But a lot of brothers, now I'm not saying that you can't have a wife, but I'm saying you shouldn't have a wife until you're able to take and provide for a wife. There are a lot of, as they say, camps, and I'm going to have to say camps because that's what they call themselves. There's a lot of camps out here that believes that a man can have multiple women. He stay home, study the word of, as they say, God. They say God. I don't deal with God, but that's what they're doing, practicing God worship. And as long as he's studying the scriptures or the Bible or whatever they're studying to uplift the people, that it's okay for their nashim, 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 6 of them, to go out and work to bring the money in to provide for the family. I'm waiting for him to show me that in the scripture so I can say, I'm sorry, I taught you something wrong. Everything that I see, a man must be in position to take care of a woman before he can take a wife. Shoot, man, let's look at this for a minute. Think about this for a minute. Think about it for a second, because this is how deep the Most High works. If a man takes a virgin, right? Isn't there a fee that he got to pay for that virgin? Well, if you ain't got no money, how you going to buy her? If a man takes a wife, there's a price, a bride's price that he pays for a wife. But if you ain't got no money, how you going to buy a wife? See, we ain't talking about this stuff where you just walk down the street, your eyes catch her eyes, and all of a sudden y'all want to start laying together and y'all call yourselves husband and wife. That ain't what we talking about. We're talking about doing this thing the right way. So if you're doing this thing the right way, then there's certain rules and regulations that fall in place. A polygamous man should be able to take care of his family without his women having to go outside of the house to seek employment. And if you're not in that position, my brother, I'm sorry to tell you, but you shouldn't have a wife. You shouldn't have any women if you can't provide for them without them. Now, I ain't saying you can't go out and take on the dangers of what might befall you out there in the world, but you should never put your wife out there. Never. And especially don't put her out there while you sitting home, chilling. All right. But there's a lot of brothers who will do just that. But yet they got 3 and 4 wives. And it's crazy. I don't understand it. So here we go. A polygynous man, let's say you got one Isha, just one right now, Achad, just one. You only got one right now, but you're seeking another wife. A righteous polygamous man would take that wife. Let's say you meet this female on the street. You meet on the street. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I like you. You like me? Yeah. Let's talk a little bit. And you feeling her. And she feeling you. And you let her know from the door. You must let her know from the door, I'm a polygynist. I have more than one wife. And I'm willing to do that. And let's say she agrees. In your conversation, your first or second or third conversation. But before you even can take her, the first thing you should do is have a conversation with your Isha. Not that you seeking your Isha's permission to do anything. She don't make the rules around here. But you should show respect and honor to your woman. You go sit down with your wife and you have a conversation. Hey, babe, I met this female yesterday. And we had a nice conversation. And I'm kind of like feeling her. Okay? I'm really feeling her. I'm thinking about bringing her in this family. So here's the next part that we got to pay attention to. So, babe, she'll be calling you. So y'all can bust it up to see if she's a fit in this family. So you get you give your wife her number, you give the girl your wife's number. You only had one conversation with the chick, maybe 2 or 3, maybe. But it was established your purpose for trying to bring her in. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, babe, she going to be calling you. Or, matter of fact, yeah, you have her call your wife. Because that's more respectable to your wife. Or bring her to the house and let her sit down with your wife. So look, check this out. And then after she sit down and she talk with your wife, you say, well, babe, what you think? The wife say, give me some time. Let me fill out. Let me get to know her. You cut her off. Don't deal with her. Let your wife deal with her. Let your wife talk to her. Let your wife fill her out. If you want to do anything, text her every morning, call her up for 5 minutes in the morning, say, hey, how you doing? I'm just checking up on you, making sure you're cool. Then at night, call her before she go to bed. Hey, just checking up on you, making sure it's cool. But don't entertain no conversations with her. Let your wife feel her out. Let your wife feel her spirit. Because you know what I'm going to tell you? Not always, but 9 times out of 10, your wife going to tell you the truth. She will come, if you got a real, you picked your wife right, and she's about it like she's supposed to be, you can trust her. She going to tell you the truth because women can feel each other in a manner that men cannot even begin to understand. We can't begin to understand it. Let your wife fill her out. If your wife comes back to you and your wife says after you done let your wife fill her out for a minute, well, Abi, I don't like her. Yeah, I said it right. Your wife called you Abi, my father. She says father because you putting it down like a father in her life. That's how you're supposed to be as the head of your house. So anyway, she says, Abi, I don't really like this sister. And she give you the reasons why she don't like the sister. That don't mean you don't marry the sister. What it means is it's time for you to do the investigation. Go check it out and see what's up because your woman might not be as righteous as you think she is. And she might have a little thing inside of her that say, you know what? If this sister looking all good with that fat booty and them big titties getting this marriage, he ain't going to pay me no mind no more. She might be working on something like that. So don't just take her word for the last word, but allow her word to be a large bulk of your decision. So you go ahead and you start, all right, babe, you cool? You don't like that? All right, cool, no problem. So you let it go. And you start investigating on your own. Spend some time, talk to her, chill with her. I ain't said nothing about sex. Nothing about sex. You take some time, you spend some time, get to know her, fill her out. Keep in the back of your mind what your wife said she didn't like about the sister, but don't let that be utilized as your judging or your reference point when you're dealing with the sister. But don't forget what your wife said. So you're filling the sister out. You just want to know the sister. You want to get to see how the sister's working, how she feels. You know, if the things that your wife said may be true, you got to give it the benefit of the doubt and feel that presence. If you feel what your wife said is not true, then you say to your wife, babe, I'm really interested in taking her for a wife. I need y'all to work on something. Work on getting together and try to build a relationship. Your wife, if she's a good wife, she'll say, okay. After a conversation, after y'all talk, she ain't going to just give it in because you say so. She going to speak her mind and say what she got to say because she needs to justify her point. And you as a righteous man, you're going to hear her point. As long as she ain't disrespectful, there's nothing wrong with you hearing her out. Yes, babe, I understand, but I want y'all to try to see if y'all can make this work. Yeah, yeah. Bang! You give it, courtship might be for 6 months. So during that 6-month time, you talking to the sister, your wife, y'all getting together, y'all talking to the sister, and y'all working this thing out to see if y'all can make this work. If after 6 months' time that you chose, it could be 6 months or a year. It could be 2 years. The courtship could be as long as you want it to be. If you choose that courtship for 6 months and you see that what your wife said was true, you don't owe that sister anything because you never violated her. You understand? Now, if you sneaking around and you start having oral sex, oh, I ain't penetrate you, so you ain't my wife now, I'm telling you, stay away from that. That's foolishness. That's not how righteous men get down. They shouldn't do that. So you stay away from the sexual area completely. And you're dealing with this area of her mind, of her essence, to getting to know her. All right? Now, if you decide that you're not going to marry her, then you don't owe her nothing. But I'm going to tell you something, bro. Let's say you didn't listen to Prince. And you decided that you're going to do that little nookie, the little nasty stuff, but you're going to say, well, I didn't enter into you, but you're not my wife. A righteous man would understand that you shouldn't divorce that woman after that. If you already know that you're going to marry her, then you have to do what it is that you have to do to maintain, to keep, and to establish her and let her know that you're about your business. But if you feel in your spirit, I ain't going to marry her, she ain't working out, she had too many men, she got too many kids, or she got a nasty mouth, she ain't no good, she ain't ready for this level, then you need to let her go. You need to let her go. You got to let her go. Because if you partake in her in any kind of sexual way, and then you decide later she's not right for you, she's not a fit, she got to go, you have done her wrong and you've dealt deceitfully with her. And it should never be that way. Anything that you cannot let go at any moment, you should already know it got a hold on you and a bond on you that it shouldn't have, pertaining to taking a wife. You got to let her go. It's just that simple. But when you let her go, you have to let her go unscathed, whereas you did not violate her in any way, shape, or form. So she's cool for the next man. So the Most High won't be angry with you and have to bring down his wrath upon you for violating the daughters of Israel. You understand what I'm saying to you? I pray that you do. So let's get into this. Polygyny. A lot of men think they understand it, but they don't. Here we go. In societies that have a long tradition of polygyny, women appear to welcome on co-wives. A co-wife not only affords companionship and shares the labor, but her presence indicates that the family is sufficiently wealthy to have this luxury. What does that mean? That means that a man has to be in a financial position to take on the luxury of having a co-wife, another wife. That family has to be in a position. That man has to be financially fit to take on a wife and then co-nashim. He has his priorities must be in place. Financially, he must be in a condition where he can afford to take care of more than one wife. A lot of men are not able to do so. But their greed, their lust, their evil portion of them, oh, I got to have it. She looks too good. I don't want nobody else to have it. Come here. Come over here with me. And he knows he can't handle it. He can't afford it. He can't do it. The best thing he should do is be honest with himself and honest to his creator and let her go. Let somebody who can provide for her have her. But if she's meant to be with you, she will be with you eventually. One of the things is if you have that woman and you sex her and you let her go and then another man go get her, you can never have it again. But if you didn't sex her and you let her go, another man takes her, you can always take her again once that man is done. If it didn't work out, if she's meant for you, she's going to be with you. You understand? If it's meant for you, it's going to happen. This is what we got to understand with so many of us. We lose focus on what this is all about. Men today want to rape, rob, and steal and force through violence a woman. That's not how you handle a woman. Man, listen, if you walk up to a woman and smack her in the face, just smack her in the face. You'll probably knock some of her teeth out. You'll probably break her jaw. You'll probably disfigure her face. And I'm telling you these things from experience. I've made those mistakes in my life. That's why I can speak the way that I'm speaking. Because I was that man. I was a violent dude. I didn't even know who I was. I thought I knew, but I didn't understand. I was no good of a man. And I had multiple women. But I abused them in this manner because I didn't understand what a man is supposed to do. I learned from them Hebrews from the old school, and that's how they taught us. Well, now you got a young prince today, and he's teaching you something else with wisdom. That's all I'm going to teach you. And I'm going to share with you how a man is to take a wife and how you're supposed to treat a wife once you take a wife. Okay? If you can't afford her, it's best that you don't have her. Let her go. If she's meant to be, she will return. Okay? Indeed, a principal function of polygyny is to increase the wealth of the family and thereby its social importance. Remember last week when I told you in class how if you marry a prince, you become a what? A princess. That means that you have to carry yourself a certain way. You conduct yourself a certain way. And you should not be known in the public as a loose woman, as a loudmouth woman, as a very opinionated woman. That's not how a princess moves. When a princess speaks, now let's think for a minute. When a princess speaks, it's very limited when she does speak, but when she does, she says something profound that you have to really pay attention to. Say, you know what? Damn, I see why he chose her. Because she's the bomb. Now, if she get up there and say something stupid out of her mouth, you'd be like, that's his wife? Now, come on, let's be real. Would you say that or no? You'd be like, damn, that's that man's wife? And he a prince? And he chose her for a wife? Come on, that don't even make sense. Or if you see her on the street and she look like a bum, she look like a construction worker. She walking around with a hoodie and sweatpants on and boots. And he's a prince in the nation. Is that the prince? Huh? That's what you're going to think. You see? This is what I'm talking about. When a princess steps out of the house, she should always look like a princess. She should always look like a princess. She should never look like a nigger or one of the dudes or a construction worker. That's right, sis. She should be soft-spoken as well. She should represent her husband to the fullest. That's how she's supposed to step out the house. At all times, her mind got to be focused on, do I look like a princess today? So let me ask you this. Well, let me leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I think you understand where I'm coming from. So when that book says, she should, thereby is social importance, her social, when I was in college, they taught me that social meant environment. We had sociology, and sociology meant the environment, the community that you lived in, the people, the situations that you're in. So that's what social means. So the community importance of her was of the utmost when she marries into a family. She has to represent that family properly. You understand? A lot of people don't understand what it is that they're supposed to do. I'm glad you enjoyed the teachings. May the Creator allow me to continue to teach and be accurate with what I'm saying. Moreover, where labor is scarce, co-wives may increase the wealth of the family. She also got to be somebody that ain't got no problem getting dirty if she need to. What I mean? Notice what it says. When labor is scarce, she does what she has to increase the family. That doesn't mean she go out and get a job for Tom, Dick, or Harry. That means she works inside the home for the family to raise the family up. Rather she do the books, rather she take care of the animals, rather she, whatever it is that she does it from the home to raise up the value of the home. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, well, who am I? I'm Prince, don't matter. In my opinion, your wife should not go out into the workforce for the world to seek employment. You as a man, you have to get creative. Create something that she can do inside the home. It's so much for a woman to do, let alone a mother. Let alone a mother. To do a mother's job and do it right, it takes a lot out of an individual. A lot, if it's done properly. But let me get on, because I got to get this done. Okay? All right, where we stop at? For example, among the Blackfoot Indians, polygyny increased with the transition of fur trading from beaver to buffalo. Tanning the buffalo skins was the exclusive labor of women. And the more wives a man had, the greater his financial potential. The more greater his financial potential. A lot of men don't know how to work what they got. They think, a lot of men think, well, I got all these wives, so I can have sex all the time. Because I got a sex problem and I haven't learned how to master my being. So if I get me another wife, I can continue to have sex. I might have wore this one out. She might be tired. She might be pregnant. Or she might be on a cycle. So I can go get another wife so I can have sex. When she ain't on her cycle, I could be with that one. And then I could just keep on giving into the sex demon that thrives inside of me that makes me think that the only purpose a woman has in a man's life is to have sex with. There's a lot of men who think like that. And that's a problem. Any man who takes a wife should have purpose in mind prior to him taking that wife. How can she benefit this family? What can she bring into this family to help this family to elevate? You see, these things are important. How can she serve me in this family, in this marriage? What is it that she brings to the table? And I ain't talking about money. Women come to the table for other purposes, and it has nothing to do with money. We got to understand that. So if you still a man and you taking all these nashim just so that you can have a sex partner, you got a problem. I don't care how much wealth you got. You could be one of the richest men. If you only take a nashim so you can have different sex partners, something's wrong with you. And you need to rethink yourself. If I was you, I would go pray, fast, and meditate to the Creator and ask the Most High for instruction and how to change my behavior and my way of thinking, because it's not good. For example, okay, I already told you about them. I'm going to skip down to the next verse, the next chapter. In ancient times, polygyny was practiced in Egypt among the Hebrews, in Arabia, and in Ireland, and it was until modern times. In China and Japan, in the form of concubinage. So in China and Japan, they just went and got another concubine. Now, the concubine is just that. No, man, ain't nothing wrong with my flag. Hey, sis, ain't nothing wrong with my flag. That flag is like that for a reason. And if I need to explain that to you, sis, I will. Here it is. And I'm going to get back to the book because that's important. Everybody keep asking me that. This flag, I got it purposely like this because this flag represents the nation of Israel. This is our national flag. I helped to create this flag. I was one of the brains that decided what went where and how and then when and then these. I was one of those individuals who did this. But what's happening is every nation has a flag that represents them. This is our flag that represents our nation. But we are so broken, so destroyed, so not in our right minds that my flag will remain like this until the day comes that we are a better people, a better individual. When the men learn how to treat their women, when the women learn how to respect themselves and how to treat their men. When we stand as a community with some strength, making power moves in this earth, then I'll straighten that flag up and it'll be up there like it's supposed to be. Until then, I got the flag up representing my people, but it's going to have a slight bend in it because we ain't all the way straight yet. Once we get all the way straight, then that flag is going to go up like it's supposed to be. And that's where I'm at. That's why I wear it the way that I wear it. That's right. We got a lot of work to do to get there. So let me get back. But thank you for the compliment, sis. Thank you for that. Let me get back. In ancient times, okay, we're gonna skip down. In the societies of Oceania, plural marriages was legal, but were common only among the most affluent. Only the rich people or people with wealth, again, people with money was able to have more than one wife. We got a brother right now living in a car, and he got 2 women in the car with him. He was living in a car when he met them. So it ain't like he was doing his thing and ran up and hard luck hit him, the Most High punished him, or his life fell apart. I can understand that, and I'm with that. That woman's supposed to rock with him. No matter where they at, she's supposed to rock with him. That's what this is about. But this brother was living in a car when he got him. Now, what woman in her right mind gonna move out of her daddy house and in a car with some dude because he say we slept together and you my wife? But you get it. You get it. It's a sad situation. Only the most affluent or the most successful or the richest of the people or the people with wealth, financial wealth, who is able to provide, as the Most High said in Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, verse 12, verse 11, he has to put her in his house, not in the back seat of his car or not in the front seat of his car or not underneath of the trunk, but in his home. He had to provide her a home for her to live in. And I'm going to tell you something else. Earlier, I gave you a scenario about a man who took a wife and his wife disapproved of the second wife, but yet he took her anyway. Here we go. If he's to take her anyway, he can't take that wife and move her in the house with the first wife because he already know they ain't going to get along. Mm-hmm. The wise thing to do is to buy her own house. Buy her own and let her have her own. But if you got any sense and you're like me and you just met her, I would rent out an apartment. I would rent an apartment and pay somebody rent for about a year or two just till she shows that she's ready to be my wife. That's what I would do. I wouldn't just take and just move her or spend all that money and buy her a house, set her up because now something else I want to teach you. If a man has multiple nashim, I want y'all listening? Y'all listening? All right, listen. If a man has multiple nashim, and the first wife was the first wife, now he take another wife, the second wife, and he marry her. If, creator forbid, this man dies, the first wife inherits everything. And if she really didn't like the second wife, where's she at then? She gets nothing. You see? She gets nothing. What does she have? Where is she at? What's left on record for her? Nothing. She done gave that man 10 years of her life. Blood, sweat, and tears. And because the first wife didn't like her, the husband passed away, the second wife gets zilch. So the man, a way to avoid that is the man can get an insurance policy. Yeah. He can put first wife get this much, second wife get that much, and any of the children get that much. But what I like best is this. This is how real men operate. It's just that simple. If you ain't got a real man, you're not familiar with what I'm about to say. But if you got a real man or a man trying to be a real man, then you're going to understand what I'm saying. This is how a real man would get down. He got the first wife, knowing that the second wife and the first wife don't get along, but yet he still wants the second wife. And she passes that duration of time in that apartment up the street or around the corner down the block. She passes that year or 2 years of time to make sure that she's worthy. he got to get her own house. They both have to be on equal playing grounds in order that no jealousy sets in. See, you don't play games with a woman. You let a woman know from the door, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm about, and this is how you got to live if you want to be with me. I'm going to let you live in an apartment until you show me that you're worthy of being my wife fully before I go and spend all this money on you, before I go get 3 and 4 jobs trying to take care of you, because that's what men do. They handle their responsibility and we eat last. We make sure that the family's provided for first before we partake of the goodies. You follow me? So before I get you in your own house and I make sure that you're going to be a good wife, a good fit for this marriage, because first, the beginning might be a little rough. But as time goes on, you get to fill them out a little bit more. They start coming out of that closet and they can hide for a long time and pretend to be good. Well, let them pretend while they're in that apartment. So after they take the veil off and you see, what in the world did I marry? Then you got to give her a bill because she's unclean. There's nothing in her that's worthy today. So you haven't really lost a whole lot like you would if you got her a house. This is why I'm telling you this. And I want you to listen to this. I already know a lot of y'all going to disagree with me from the door. But I'm telling you as a man, this is how you should get down. When you've taken that wife and you've gotten her out of that apartment and you put her in her house, that house should be in her name and not yours. It has to truly be her house. And the only way that it's going to truly be her house in this government is if you put it in her name. If you're not willing to do that, then you don't need to have that Isha as your wife. Hey, Moray Shema, I see you here, right? I see you here, right, Moray Shema, so I want to give you a shout out. I got my little gift this week from Moray Shema. Y'all see that? My Isha. Excuse me, can I tell my story? My Isha came down here and brought me a gift. See that bracelet? I want to show everybody because I need my brother. This is the Shabbat, so I'm going to remember the Shabbat day. So certain things I ain't going to say. But Moray Shema supplied these things, and my Isha, when she came, she had a little gift for me. We got little matching joints. I like that. See, mine's a little too small. So Moray, I need you to send me a bigger one. Something that's going to fit my arm properly. All right? All right. So I'm going to keep that like that because the Shabbat is here. All right? So, men, I need you to understand this. A woman, if you got a real good woman, she will operate and be her very best if you make her feel that she's important to you. Okay. Yes. If you're going to do it, and if you decide to make her your wife, you buy her a house and put it in her name. Even if there's a note on the house, you put it in her name. Because if anything happens to you, you're the breadwinner. You're the source of all energy. If anything happens to you, she could pay off the house with the insurance money that you leave behind. And if she never gets another man in life, she's cool because those little taxes, she can make that if she just works around the house doing whatever she does from home. She don't have to go out into the world. And if everything is done in righteousness, another Hebrew brother will pick her up and take care of her and provide for her the way that it's supposed to be. Understand what I'm saying to you, fam. This is how men are supposed to get down. And then when that next Hebrew man takes her and he moves her in his house, that house can be a source of income for her to run the chores around the house and do what she needs to do around in your house or the next man's house. You follow? Think about the future, fam. Don't just live for the day because you can get a piece of twat whenever you want it. That's not what this is about. This is about purpose and principle. And you have to think like this if you're thinking about taking one wife or multiple wives. See what I got? Multiple? Either way you do it, you got to do it correctly. You got to think ahead of time. Then he's not a good man. If he moves in the house with that woman, then he's not a good man. No man should move in a woman's house and call it his own. Matter of fact, no man should ever move in a woman's house, period. That's the end of that, sis. That answers your question. If anything, he moves her into his house and rent that house out and use that income as a source to the family to come up. That's it. But no man shall ever move in a woman's house. Ever, 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 ever. Ever, 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 ever. Shouldn't happen. Because it's a recipe for destruction. All right. Polygyny is still prevalent in most Muslim nations. The Muslim or the Quran, the Bible of Islam, officially permits the Muslim man to take 4 wives. That's the maximum amount that a Muslim brother is allowed or permitted to have. 4 wives. That has nothing to do with the Hebrew way of life. A Hebrew man can have as many nashim as he can provide for. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's right. That's a son, not a husband. That's right. That's right, Anatai. Although polygyny has been practiced widely throughout Islam, Western Moors have made their effective Muslim society, and many Muslims consider plural marriages a sign of cultural backwardness. Consequently, polygyny is now banned or at least discouraged in several Muslim countries. Wow. Amy, can you come get this, please?
Yes.
Toda. Now, the books that I'm reading out of, I know a lot of you probably forgot what these books are, so I'm going to tell you what they are. Sis, you might not have been here earlier. Nava Yaakov. Shabbat Shalom, sis. But you may not have been here earlier. We're asking that all questions, and that's a very important question, that all questions are asked after the lesson is over. Write them down and then ask your question after the lessons are over. That's a very, very important question, and I would love to address it.
I'm going to pin her question.
Okay, and I love to address it. So what I was saying was, a lot of people forgot about these things. This is called the Encyclopedia Americana. Okay? Encyclopedias. I got a whole volume here. I got a whole volume at the other house. And I keep these things besides what they got on the computer. Because Google often changes based on who's in charge. They put things out like they want based on who's in charge. But these encyclopedias, once they're written, you got the evidence. So you can read what you need to read. So I covered a little bit about a polygyny. Now I want to talk about a wife or a marriage. Let me discuss marriage. Marriage, when viewed within the entire range of past and present human societies, marriage can be described as more or less durable unions. Durable unions. Sanctioned by society. Remember earlier when I mentioned that we have the right to define words, meanings, and its meaning and its definition and how we're going to move? We have the right to define what a marriage is also. Sis, no need to apologize. You may not have been here, so it's fine. We have the right to define because of the society that we're in. Now, when we get in that level of development where we are considered to be a nation once again, culturally, and we are united, where we keep all of us keeping, or the majority of us are keeping Pesach on the same day, you see? These are the things I'm talking about. Once we get to that place and level of understanding, we define what is good and best and right for us as a people. That's what we have to do. Okay? A marriage will be determined by us, what we consider to be a marriage. We won't get our marriage contracts from the Europeans any longer. Most of us don't do it now. Some of us have. Most of us don't do that now. So if you're looking for the Europeans to validate your marriage, you're looking in the wrong place for validation. Only your people can bring you validation. Okay? A marriage is what's accepted in the midst of our people. That's what a marriage is. It's culturally accepted by us. Okay? between one or more men and one or more women. To attain the sanction of society, it is necessary that the relationship be formed and conducted in accordance with unwritten customs and taboos, and in primitive societies or in accordance with established laws. Now for us, the taboos and the customs are not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the established law of this book, talking about the established laws of the Most High. How the Most High left on record for us a law that we are to utilize to determine how we are to move. Everything that we do should be based on those laws. As in more sophisticated societies, the sanction of society distinguishes marriage from other relationships between men and women, and from pair bonding and reasonable long-term relationships between male and female. All societies have rules or shared patterns of behaviors that regulate sexuality, birth, and child rearing. Marriage is the institution that encompasses these rules and patterns of behavior. So what that means is that sex should constitute marriage. What I'm saying on our culture, what I'm saying to you is this: you should not be having sexual activity except you're doing it with your husband or your wife. Other than that, you're in violation. And I just don't understand how we can live willfully in violation of the Creator and say that we're married. Doesn't make sense. Polygyny in general. Polygyny presupposes a considerable accumulation of wealth. Everybody agrees that a polygynous man must need be a pretty wealthy man. So in today's society, a pretty wealthy man will be above average man. He ain't got to be rich. He ain't got to be getting it. He just needs to be above average, because the average man is basically struggling. He can barely afford one wife. But a man that's getting it, got his own business, run his own company, or got a very, very good job, making nice little couple dollars, he might can afford to have more than one Isha. But one individual who can barely take care of himself, I like to use the scenario of the brother sleeping in the car and has been sleeping in the car for 2 years. I like to use him as an example, but he's horny. So what he does is he goes out to a camp by day, on a Shabbat day. He gets in well with the people. He don't tell nobody he's sleeping in the car yet, but he gets in well with the people at the camp. The people at the camp like him. The people at the house of worship, they like him. So they offer him a young lady to marry, not knowing that the brother's sleeping in the car. He says, hey, I'm ecstatic. I like that. Let me have her. I'll take her. So he introduced to the lady, and now he's sexing the lady. He wake up tomorrow. Oh, you're my wife. She got to pack up her stuff, and she is his wife. That don't change because they done did it. She packs up her stuff, and they go, and they sleep in that car together. What was the mistake there? The mistake is that the people who voluntarily gave the woman to the man did no research on the man. And you find that often in our society, where a lot of our people do not physically check out or mentally check out that individual. Just because he's come around for a little while and we like him and he talk a good talk, he might even be a moray. We naturally assume that this man can take on the responsibility of a woman, and we give him to her. You're absolutely right, sis. Yakia. You're absolutely right. So they'll go, and this brother could be a moray, but totally unfit, not capable, not able to take on a wife. But the leadership didn't do their homework. They allowed their emotions to control them. And they say, hey, bro, because we like you and you here and you speak a little bit of Hebrew. Here, take her as your wife. And the family, because the family respect the leadership, they ain't going to argue, okay, bro, yeah, you go ahead and take her wife. Or it might be the leadership daughter. Yeah, go ahead, take her as your wife. But nobody investigated this moray. Nobody investigated this brother. Nobody checked out to make sure that this brother wasn't sleeping in a car, that this brother had a decent job. Right. Just because he came to Shabbat service looking clean don't mean he was worthy. Right. And then now this girl, she married him and she is his wife. Although he didn't deserve a wife, she got to go stay with him in that car. That's ridiculous. That's not the way it's supposed to be. We are to carefully investigate these situations before these situations take place. A polygamous marriage requires more economic resources than a monogamous marriage. If you have more than one wife, you require to have more than the average amount of resources because you have more than one wife. But a lot of men, they will take more than one wife. And sisters, you got to stop falling for this foolishness. You allow it to happen. You court this guy, you see this guy, you lay down with this guy, all of a sudden you're his wife, and he's not providing for you. He shack up with you, move into your house or your apartment where you got a government subsidized house where the government is really paying the rent. You don't work, he don't work, you getting food stamps, he cool with that, and that's how y'all survive. And now he come home one day, he got another wife that he wants to bring in the house with you in your government funded house so y'all can all get more food stamps because she got a baby or two and she could get more stamps and y'all think y'all doing something and y'all call that marriage. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. But that's a reality for a lot of our people. A polygamous marriage requires more economic resources than a monogamous marriage because in most societies, each wife, now watch this, because each wife and her children, unless they are sisters, according to this, unless they are sisters, each wife and her children have their own sleeping quarters and sometimes their own cooking facilities. In other words, their own house. Do you see what I'm saying? Each man is required to provide his nashim should have their own place to live. First of all, you keep down on the tension and stress because if you got one wife first and she moves into the house with you, the second wife moves into the house is going to feel like this is not really her house. No matter how long she's been there, no matter how much she likes the first wife, she's going to feel like this is not really mine. This is your first wife's house, and I'm just a roommate. I move in with her with my children, or you gave me children, but we still living in her domain. And that's how they're going to feel. So you got to be careful about what you do. Each wife should have their own house so you can kill a lot of the problems that you're going to have. And if it ain't that way, you're causing a problem. You're causing a problem. Where polygyny exists, it is practiced largely by the wealthy and the ruling classes because only these can afford the luxury of having more than one wife. It's absolutely true. If you can't pay the cost to be the boss, then be the employee. Don't put yourself in position to do things that you're not physically, financially, and mentally able to handle. And a lot of us do that because we move off of emotions and we don't move off of principles and our integrity. See, most men know when they can and cannot do something. But if you're honest with yourself, bro, you might as well give each one of your nashim a divorce and tell them, please don't be with nobody else and I'll remarry you after I'm in position to take care of you. You understand what I'm saying? But most of us won't do that. Because we don't live in our integrity. We live off of something else. Most of us won't admit when we down. And we really need to be alone so we can focus. Because when you got a wife, it takes a lot of your attention, a lot of your ability, your creativeness is focused on raising up and gearing up your family as opposed to preparing for your family. When you take a wife, you should already be in position. There's certain things that you should already have acquired as a man to take a wife. And a lot of us don't do that. Watch this. Younger men have either one wife or no wife. Older men who are more established, as this is about to tell us, older men who are more established are what a woman should be looking for. Y'all don't understand what I'm trying to tell you. Listen, a woman who is of marriage age. Now, in the ancient days, marriage age was quote unquote 13 to 45. That was marriage age. In these days, what do we consider marriage age? I would say anywhere from 17, 18 up to about 48, 49, because a lot of them, they ain't got no man no more. They like 49, 50 years old. They still need some help. So we got to help them. But younger men should only have one wife or no wife. Older men should be practicing polygyny because an older man is more established. He done been through what she's going to go through. He can help her get where she needs to be. A lot of people are going to say, well, Prince, how old are you, Prince? I'm 39 3/4 years old. Y'all hear that? 39 3/4. Y'all hear that, right? All right. The point I'm trying to make is that a younger woman should be looking for an older man, not a man her age, not a man 5 years older than her. Because if she's 18 and he's 5 years older than her, would that make her like 23? He ain't established. He ain't got nothing going on. You understand? It takes a man within his 30s before he's really getting a sense of what's going on. So a 30, 35-year-old man with an 18-year-old girl will be more likely what it needs to be, as long as he's established and moving in the right direction. Usually the young men ain't got much for young wisdom. Young guys ain't really got no wisdom because they haven't lived a life. They haven't experienced what she's about to experience. They're not prepared to mentally take her on. See, this is what I'm saying. When a man takes a wife, he has to be financially and mentally and spiritually able to take a wife, let alone nashim. You understand what I'm saying to you? So a young man should have either one wife or no wife. And he should have no wife until he's able to provide something for a wife. And then once he's able to provide something for a wife, then he can go out and get a wife. But don't rush it because your hormones are racing. Don't rush it. Learn self-control and self-discipline. Master your essence. Now, she won't be sad because, first of all, she talking about she going to be sad. She won't be sad if she's a woman of quality, any woman of value, she'll be appreciative of having an older husband. Believe me, she will. She'll be appreciative, especially if he's doing it right. If he's doing his job the way he's supposed to do it, she won't be sad. She'll be appreciative. Because you know why? When she get to talk to other girls her age that married that fool around the corner and they divorced, and married that other fool around the corner and they divorced, and then married that dude around the corner, or he didn't want to marry, he just wanted to sex her. And then she'll get to say, well, wait a minute, I've been with my husband for 10 years now. That was a good decision. But all of her girlfriends, the men from man to man to man to man, their bodies are starting to look like a subway train. Did anybody hear what I said? Their bodies are starting to look like a subway train. You know how many people go in and out of a subway car? That's what happens. And that's all a result of what we do by living in a life of the Western mind. Hey, baby free. So we got to separate ourselves from that mindset, family. A younger woman should be with an older man. That's what she should be with. An older man. Let's get it right. Polygyny. Oh. Let me see what the European mind. Oh, here go the European minds, man. This is what the European mind said. In some societies where there is an extension of the marriageable ages for women, such as from 13 to 45. That's what they say. And a comprehension, what? I don't know what that word means. Comprehension. Can anybody look up that word for me? Comprehension? And tell me what it means?
What is it? Spell it.
Comprehension means, comprehension is spelled C-O-M-P-R-E-S-S-I-O-N. Compression.
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 Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean?
Compression, when you hold something down, like you're mashing something. Compress, to compress.
But that don't make sense.
Okay,
A compression of marriageable age for men.
well, maybe they don't know that they're
I don't know.
saying.
Yeah. All right, so they got me beat.
The action of compressing or being compressed. The reduction in volume causing an increase in pressure of the, yeah.
Spell it. How you spell it? C-O-M.
M-P-R-E-S-S-I-O-N.
What's definition number 2?
Hold on. It's not showing me this.
She's not giving you no other definitions? All right.
Press together.
Press together. Okay. All right.
Flatten.
Flatten. Anything else?
That's pretty much it.
All right. So I guess we're going to have to make sense to us.
Well, you have a compressor. So, oh, that's my dad.
Shabbat shalom, Abi. What's up, man? All right, let's read on. All right. And a compression of marriageable age for men. A larger pool of female partners is available. Now think about it for a minute. Now I got to take this microphone off and I have to put the charger in on the phone. So the volume may change. Give me a second, please. But think about it for a minute. It says that a man, a pretty wealthy man, should be able to take more than one wife because there are more women than there are men. And that's just a reality. We all know that to be true. It says polygyny will be a good thing for those reasons. And that this man should be looking for a woman between the age of 13 to 45. A larger pool of female partners is available. Without an overall unbalanced sex ratio, this too leads to older men having several wives. Older men having more than one wife. Younger men are not ready to have, most of them are not ready to have one wife. But yet they got 3, 4, and 5. Now let's deal with this in reality. Let's deal with this in reality. I remember one of my sons. He had just came home from jail. He had just got out of jail. For whatever it was. First thing he did was, he came home, he hooked up with a female. If you here listening, then you want to know exactly I'm talking about you. He came home and he hooked up with a female. He said, yo, look, I want to marry her. This is what I want to do. Well, I said to him first, this was many years ago. And I'm still 39 3/4, all right? This was many years ago. He was a buck. He was a young buck. No, truthfully, he was about a teenager. So he says to me, he wanted to marry this girl, but he used to have a girl before he went to jail. It used to be his girl before he went to jail. I said to the brother, no, you can't have her. You can't. Now, let's say this is 15 years ago, fam. So I say to him, no, you can't marry her because you used to have her prior to you getting into this way of life before you knew the law. So you can't have her as a wife again after you're in the law. Oh, Albert, come on, man. He didn't want to listen. He did it anyway. He goes, he marries the girl. They move in together in one of our apartments. We gave him an apartment. They moved in together. Didn't want it, but since he did it anyway, I was going to try to do what I could do to make things right. I would say 6 months go by. They want a divorce. They get a divorce. 6 months go by. He meets another female. Moves her in an apartment. They've been together for about 4 years, him and his other girl. He got 4 children by her. The first one he ain't had no children by, but the next one, he got 4 children by her. They break up. They move on. He gets, now this is the man at a young age. So now he moving on like 25. Breaks up from her. He gets another woman. Now I'm not exaggerating. I'm probably undervaluing the reality of it. He gets another woman after that. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. Sis looked up the definition. Did she get? Can you read that and see if she came up with something other than what you gave me? Okay. He moves from her, the woman who gave him 4 children, maybe 5, and moves on to another woman. Now, when he took this next woman, he took two women at the same time. Divorced one of those women, took another woman. Divorced one of those women and took another woman with the other wife. And that has happened 3 or 4 times. One time he called me up, he got 3 women. And guess what the clincher is to the whole thing? He never had a job through the whole situation. Not one time did he get a job and go to work to provide for this family. You know what he did? For all the women that he had women after woman after woman after woman, and some of them, he had them all together. He did not listen to what I had to share with him. We had fallen outs plenty of time. There was time where we didn't even speak because he was so staunch to move in the wrong direction, and I couldn't have it. So I cut him off. He do what he called himself, cut me off, because now I ain't giving him what he want. I'm not going to have that mess around me. That's foolishness. But you can't tell these young guys nothing. He ain't got a pot to piss in, a window to throw it out of, but he didn't have, if you add it up today, he had at least 10 women in the last 15 years. That's an embarrassment for any man. To have ran through 10 Hebrew women in 15 years is an embarrassment, and you ain't got none of them now. That's an embarrassment. It was my apartment. I let him move in the apartment. I provide for my family. I look out for my people. It was my apartment. I let him move in my apartment, a building that I own. I say, hey, go live there. And he did. But he abused it and just ran amok. All type of things. All right. So.
The definition is pretty much what she put up. It says compressibility. It's pretty much the same thing. It's like capability of compression, the ability of something to be reduced in volume or size under pressure.
Okay. So that's maybe it's just, like maybe it's me that's not understanding them. Maybe it's just me. Because I don't see how that fit when the marriages, when they're talking about multiple marriages, so maybe they're talking about the pressure of taking on all these different women. Yeah, that's probably what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. All right, well, Mr. Encyclopedia, his mind has surpassed me in that conversation. So I have to move on. All right, let me move on. Nasi has always been that way. You're right, Yakia. Thank you, Yakia. Toda Rabah. All right, let's move on. Polygyny can be traced principally to military and economic activity. In early warfare, such as that of the American Indians, a common practice was to kill men and carry off the women for secondary wife. Didn't we just read that in Deuteronomy? Where they would go to war and kill all the men and take the wife? Take the women and marry the women and the children? Yeah. We just read that. They're saying that this in American Indians used to do the same thing. So this shows that Scripture got a lot going on with it, don't it? Mm-hmm. In early warfare, such as that of the American Indians, a common practice was to kill the men and carry off the women for secondary wives. Extra wives were not only an outward sign of a man's wealth, but also a means of increasing the wealth he already had. So a poor man did not take a wife. A poor man did not take multiple wives. It just wasn't the way that it was supposed to be. A man had to get his foot had to be grounded in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion before he took on the responsibility of another wife. And we today, we abuse that horribly. We abuse it to the utmost. A lot of men are living with a... Oh, that's Ezzy. Shalom, Ezzy. A lot of men who don't have their situations correct are living in the household of the woman. That's a violation. That's wrong. Get your situation right and move that woman in your home. That's the way it's supposed to be. And the only way that you can do that is if you are a man that's moving in your integrity. Okay? All right. Extra wives were not only an outward sign of a man's wealth, but also the means of increase of the wealth he already had. For example, among the Blackfoot Indians, we talked about that already. All right, let's move on. In a polygamous marriage, sexual jealousy, they get ready to touch on something else. In a polygamous marriage, sexual jealousy is minimized through clearly defining the marital rights and obligations of co-spouses. So what they're saying is you have to make it clear as to what each one's responsibilities and duties are in a marriage. Your wife can't be guessing, is it okay for me to do this? Because you know this ain't really my house. It's really her house because she lived here before me. But yet he moved me and my child in one room, and now she got that room over there, but yet this is her whole house for real, it belongs to her. You understand? That's how it is. But if everything is carefully laid down and spelled out, then we know how we are supposed to move. We know this. In a polygamous marriage, sexual jealousy is minimized through clearly defining the marital rights and obligations of co-spouses. Usually a senior or first wife, now let me tell you what they say, I'm reading, I want you to pay attention. Now, hear me, watch what they say. Usually a senior or first wife has authority over subsequent wives. This is why when a new wife move in, she can't move in that woman's house. Because that woman more than likely is going to be abusive. Not that she intends to be. She might not mean to hurt the woman's feelings, but you know how it is to have something for 15 years and all of a sudden somebody new come in on your grounds? Even in the animal kingdom, it don't exist like that.
It's just nature.
It's just nature. It's natural. They all got their own, just like a mother. You're right. That's what it is. She said, just like a mother. That's how it goes down with women. And women deal off of their emotions a lot more than men.
See your stuff get messed up.
Yeah. I work hard for that sofa. Don't just lay on that sofa. Get up. Sit up properly on that sofa. Get your feet off that table. You're going to make the stain wear off the table. Get your feet off that table. But if she got her own house, if the man took her and moved her in her own house, then it would be totally different. Things would operate totally different. She can lay back on her sofa all day if she wants. Put her feet up on the table. She can go watch. She do whatever she wants in her own house. Right. That's why I'm telling you, brothers, it's best that you have your own. When you take a wife, you uproot her from her normal position and you put her down in a place that you provide for her. Mm-hmm. You provide this place for her.
And sometimes it works, them being together, but it's a lot.
Sometimes it does work when they're together in one house, but that takes an exceptionally different type of minded people. Usually that would work if both of them came around the same time or close to the same time. Usually that'll work if you put them all in one house around that time frame. But when you got one that you've been with for years and then you bring another one in, I would advise you not to bring her in that same house. But let me get on because we're going to be here forever and I still got some other stuff I want to cover that I feel is important. Okay? All right. Okay. It is also common for co-wives, unless they are sisters, to have their own separate dwellings. So they actually agree with me. The people who wrote this actually agree with me. It's best that you have your wives in their own place.
But they said sisters. Well, we don't do that.
Yeah, well, they talking about, yeah. Well, that's a different understanding for the law. Because the law says you should not marry two sisters in rivalry to each other. But if they agree, that's a different story. But we'll have to examine that another time.
Most systems.
Yeah, most people they ain't with that. You're right. Okay, let's move on. Shabbat Shalom, sis. Shabbat Shalom. Where you been? Been missing you. It is also common for co-wives, unless they are sisters, to have their own separate dwelling. These practices help minimize jealousy, whose public expression is discouraged by the society. Co-wives are not expected to be jealous of one another. And even if jealousy is present, It is regarded as an individual response to a particular situation, one that large societies do not encourage.
Do you agree that jealousy is
You have to speak up a little bit.
Do you agree that jealousy is a natural emotion,
No.
and how someone deals with it is the outcome of it?
That's what I agree with. How somebody deals with jealousy is an unnatural thing. Jealousy might rise up. It shouldn't rise up, because with your program, you trained your mind right, it won't rise up, because you'll know your responsibility and your duties prior to that woman coming into your life. So jealousy shouldn't happen as long as you are of the right mind state. But if it does, how you deal with it is what shows your maturity, your spiritual growth. Yes. That's right, bro. Only where the head of the home allows things to be.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Polygyny has become practiced periodically within all societies, even though the overall number involved have been small. Now, polygyny has been practiced in all societies, in almost all societies. Now, what that means is that a lot of men been doing it and ain't been telling.
Right.
A lot of men, you think you got your man all to yourself. A lot of people think that. What it is that he's not openly practicing polygyny. He still got that little girl on the side, around the corner, underneath of the block. And she might be living larger than you. And you don't even know. But you think, all them Hebrews crazy. My husband is my husband. We good Christians over here. And he got a whole squad, a whole troop around the corner, around the block, and down the corner, down the street. A whole troop around there. So you're actually practicing polygyny. It's just that he ain't being honest about it. He not being a man about it. That's what happens. In reality, that's how it goes. They talk bad about us Hebrews. She got 3 and 4. I want to touch on this too, because this is some words of encouragement for the sister that's experiencing this, but yet lives in the outside world. I talked about this last week. There are a lot of sisters who have sister wives, but yet they deal with people that are not of our understanding of life. And when they get around these people, they feel sorry or sad to be living the life that they live, and feel like they have to compensate to these people in a different way, so that they don't feel bad or be shunned or looked at in a certain way because they share their husband with 1 or 2 other women. What I'm saying to you, sisters, you don't need to feel bad about that. Don't play yourself down. You are who you are. If they can't accept you because you share your husband with another woman or other women, then they don't need to be in your circle. Because if you start trying to please them, what's eventually going to happen is you're going to get a divorce. You're going to break away from your husband, and you're going to get a divorce. You're going to be single. But you're going to still be needing his services to help you to get along in life, because you might not be ready to do what you need to do on your own totally. Everybody want that independent feeling. I did this. I pay this. This is my responsibility. Well, sis, you was married to that man for 25 years. You've been separated from that man for 2 years. So for 25 years, that man carried you along all this way. And now you don't want to be his wife no more. So he gives you a bill. You go out. Where's his credit for those 25, 24 years, 23 years that he paid all the bills? He bought you the finest of cars, the best of clothes, the nicest jewelry. He was good to you in every way. You understand? He provided, you live in a little mansion. You live in a mansion, basically. You know, he provided everything for you. You drive a $100,000 car. You understand? All these things, you did not do this of your own. The Creator blessed that man, and that man did all that. But because you out now talking to somebody in the world who don't live this life, and you want to please them, now you want a divorce from your husband who did all that for you in all them years. That's why I told you should have put a button in our room. Should have put her in an apartment and paid her rent in an apartment. And that way when she decided to leave you, yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, let's get back to the lesson. because I don't want to lose anybody on this one. Sisters, the overall to what I'm trying to say is, do not give in to the other people telling you all the things that they want to say about your life when you're living the life of a Hebrew. Yeah, Morey Shema, that's how you got to get down, man. If you're going to do it, you got to do it right. A $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 car might not work for her. She might be high quality. And if she high quality, you got to get her $100,000, at least $75 on up, $1,000 car. Her house should be worth $500,000 or $1.5 million. That's how you do it, Morey. That's how you got to do it. Am I ruffling the feathers, baby? Yeah, she ain't got to work. That's on you. You got to handle that. Other than that, you playing games, man. You playing games. Don't play games with these women, man. Don't play games with them. If her car costs 100, your car might only cost 10. See, the men are the last ones to eat. And then when you want to go with her, you want to go out somewhere, you want to kick it, ask her, can you borrow her car? And then when you drive it, you paying for it. So then when you drive it, you can sit back like, yeah, that's mine. I got this whip. Let me move on, man. I'm just joking, Morey. Money has nothing to do with the overall scheme of things. This is just a joke. She don't have to drive a $100,000 car. Her house don't have to be $500,000. None of that stuff, man. She could be driving a $15,000 car. Her house can be $30,000 or $40,000. The point is that you provided these things for her. You provide those things. That's what's important. You, as her husband, provided these things for your wife. She should have the finest clothes. She should have the finest jewelry. She should have a nice car. She should have a nice home. There's no value on what those things must cost. It's about something that's reliable, something that's durable, something that gives her a sense of, he loves me. He cares about me. That's another thing I want to tell you, brothers. I'm going to drop a real Jew now. Hope y'all listening. And sisters, y'all can get mad all y'all want. I don't care. Brothers, listen to me. And if you don't listen right now, you're going to miss out on one of the most important lessons that you will ever learn in your life. Are y'all listening? Let me know y'all listening, brothers. Let me know y'all listening. Because sisters, I don't care if y'all hear this or not. I don't care if y'all agree with me or not. Let me know when y'all listening, brothers. Just type in the room, say y'all listening. I want to hear y'all before I drop this jewel. Because they running, people coming out of the room. But I'm going to drop this jewel anyway. Let me know when y'all listening. I don't hear nobody listening yet.
That said Cain.
He said Cain. I don't mean he listening. I want to hear you say, I'm listening, Prince. I can hear you, Prince. I'm ready, Prince. I want to hear something like that. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Brothers, what I'm about to tell you, bro, and I mean it with every ounce, every portion of spirit that I have within me, and I mean it. Pay close attention. Don't never, ever, as long as you live, tell your woman you love her. Don't ever do it.
What?
Don't never, ever do it. Do not tell your woman that you love her. Don't do it. It's a mistake. Now, I'm telling you, I'm serious about it. Do not do it. Your marriage is going to be heading in the wrong direction after that. This is what you do. This is what you do. You keep that to yourself. You don't become an emotional creature. You don't, man, listen, just don't tell her. Don't ever tell her. If she can't tell that you love her by how you treat her and what you do for her, then she'll never know. Because I ain't letting the words pass out of my lips. No. What? No. I ain't telling you nothing. If I'm not showing you how I feel about you, if I'm not proving it to you through my actions, that you got to question it, then that means I ain't doing my job. That means I ain't doing my job as a man. That means I'm failing as a man. If I got to do that to show you how I feel that I love you, man, you ain't gonna never hear them words coming out of my mouth. And if that's what you're waiting for, you're in for a surprise. You're supposed to show it through everything that you do. She should never question whether my man loves me or not. She should never have to question that, ever. Because everything you do displays how you feel about her. Everything. Don't let it come out of your mouth. It does something to a woman. It makes a woman crazy. It does. She start taking advantage of you. She start misusing you. She start abusing you. Don't say it. Don't ever let that come out of your mouth. And if you one of them fools that you've been saying it, yeah, I said fool because you be a fool if you've been saying it. If you one of them fools that been saying it, just stop. Just stop. You can want to hear it all you want. I'd rather show you than let you hear it. I ain't going to let you hear it, but I'll show you all day, all night. If you one of them fools that been saying it, you in trouble. Because I ain't saying nothing. If I ain't showing you, then I failed. Then you need a divorce. Keep it going. If I ain't showing you, then I failed. You can get I'll give you a divorce if that's what you want. If I fail you, then go be with somebody else that can do you a better job. And he'll probably tell you that all day and all night. It won't be showing you nothing.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, it won't be showing you nothing. Think about it, sisters. Think about it. How many men you been with in your life that told you they loved you? Think about it.
Oh, yes, they do.
How many men you been with in your life that said, oh, I love you, I love you? Where them niggas at now?
Look, as he said, she heard you say it before.
Well, I might have said it to you, but that's different. You my child, you ain't my daughter. It's different.
What? You my child, you ain't my daughter?
I mean, you ain't my wife, so it's different. You might have heard it, but that's it. Ema ain't gonna hear it. I know I'm right. How many men have told you they loved you? She said them turkeys was lying. That's right, they were lying. They tell you what they gotta tell you to get what it is that they want. But if they show you, they still with you today. You understand? So I ain't got nothing to tell you. I ain't gonna tell you. Them words you ain't gonna hear. But I'll show you all day, all night. That's if you hold a place in there. If I reserve a spot in there for you, you're gonna be able to tell through my actions. So when all them people getting that little westernized thing, always hanging up the phone before they hang up the phone and say, I love you, I say, yeah, me too. That's where I leave it at. Me too. Yeah, whatever that you want to interpret that to mean, no. Then so be it. Me too. What?
Say, you know what you say.
What I say?
Tell me that in 10 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I usually tell my woman. I tell her, she say, I love you, Abba. I love you, Abba. I look at her, I say, yeah. Tell me that in 10 years, baby girl. Tell me you love me in 10 years. Tell me you love me in 15, 20 years. Then I want to hear you say it then. Because I need to know if you can stand the rain. Because it ain't always going to be sweet.
That's right.
It's going to be some hard, some rough, some difficult times. And if you can maintain and you hang around and you stay around, then I'll know that what you said was true. How many relationships you been in your lifetime where y'all done got all emotional, laid up together and talked all that good talk. And 2 years later, you somebody else wrapped up in somebody else's arms and y'all talking all that emotional talk. And 3 years later, you up in somebody else's arms and y'all talking all that emotional talk. And then a year later or 6 months later, you with another man or another woman and y'all talking leave it all alone. Brothers, don't ever tell a woman you love her. Don't do it. Don't say it. Because the moment you do, women, I don't know what it is with a woman, but their true nature jumps out of the closet. They feel like, oh, I got him. He hooked. And even if you are hooked, show her through your actions. You know what I mean? Show her through your actions, but don't tell her nothing. Don't never tell her. Because that's when she start, yeah, Shavonna, you're right. She get crazy. I don't know what those words do to a woman, but they go somewhere else. That's right. You got a very wise Ish. I like him already. Don't tell him nothing. Yeah, well, he's a wise brother. All right, let's get on with the lesson, fam. Let's go. All right. Wife purchases. Let's talk about wife. I think it was a little bit more in polygyny I wanted to cover. All right, we're going to leave that alone for now. We're going to go to wife purchases. Now, earlier I told you about Moray, I see you. Earlier I had a conversation with you about a dowry, about when a woman marries a man, how the man pays a price for the woman when she's a virgin. And if the woman is not a virgin, you still pay what they call a bride's price to take the woman to yourself. A Hebrew man should always go to the woman's father if the father is alive. Or he should go to the woman's spiritual teacher if the father is not alive. Or her oldest living male relative that presides over her, whomever it is. The brother should always go and approach that individual and tell that individual what his intentions are for that sister.
That's right.
If he does not do these things, then he's out of order. I'm not going to say that the marriage is not legitimate, but it wasn't done with respect and honor. And as a man, everything we do, everything we ever want to do should be with respect and honor. That's why I believe you always ask the woman, if I go to your father and ask you to marry me, would you have a problem with that? Because you're showing respect to her decisions. You're showing respect that you honor and you value what she may want for her in her life. Because if you go to the father and the father tell you, well, I want $30,000 for a dowry, and you agree to that, he might make that woman marry you against her desires. And you should never want that for your wife.
Right.
Never. So you talk to the woman, go in her inbox if you need to. Don't play games with her. Get straight to the point. Hey, listen, what's up, sis? I got something I want to talk to you about. Okay, what is it? Listen, if I go to your father and ask your father, can I marry you? Would you be in agreement with that? No, I don't think so. All right, well, thank you for being honest. I appreciate that. And you leave it alone. Don't press the issue. Don't press the point. But if she says, oh, I ain't got no problem with that, then, you get the speed dial on that phone and be like, hey, shalom, how you doing? This is such and such from around the block. How are you? I belong to this place over here, this congregation over here. My name is such and such, and this is what I do, and, this is what I present, and I would like to know if I could have your daughter's hand in marriage. This is respectful. This is respectful. This is how you do it. If the man comes back and say no, then don't give up. Talk to him again, because you already know she's willing. Talk to him again. Maybe you can influence him. Maybe you can win him over. Because a lot of times as a father, we get emotional when it comes to our daughters. We be like, you got to be Superman to get my daughter.
That's right.
And you don't even know that your daughter been around the block 20 times. He don't even know. Because we always think the most of ours.
Right.
We don't suspect that our child can be a little hoe. We don't. Oh, not my daughter. My daughter's the best of the best. My daughter ain't never known man, and she'd had about 30 partners. We don't know. So we always think the best of our daughters. And we think when the man comes, the man got to be Superman to take the hand of our woman, of our child, of our daughter. Oh, no, men be emotionally. Oh, no, he could be a good candidate, but we don't see none of that. No. You got a job, bro? Yeah, I got a job. How much you make a year? $72,000. You got your own home? Yes. Oh, well, He got to try to find something. No, see, I was talking to you, but your shoes was untied. See, you're a bum because you got your shoes untied. He had to find something. He had to find a reason or an excuse to try to tell you no. So understand what I'm saying to you. Don't give up. Go back to that brother and talk to him again. And say, hey, listen. I know I had my shoes untied the last time. My pants was a little bit saggy and my hair was a little bit nappy, sir. But I really want to marry your daughter. I really feel your daughter. I feel like she's a good woman. I feel like she can add value to my life. I would like to have her as a wife, to provide for her and take care of her, either like you did or better than you did. Is it appropriate for me, sir? I'm asking your permission. I could have been like a little jitterbug on the street, snuck in the back door, and then she popped up pregnant, and then you couldn't resist me. But that's not the way I'm coming. I'm coming as a young man, respectable, honorable man. I already spoke to your daughter. She agreed. You ain't got to tell them that part, but you can if you want to. I already talked to your daughter. She agreed. She said she with it. So, sir, is it all right? Is it acceptable if I... Listen, I don't even want to marry her right now. I just want a courtship with her to see if we're compatible. I'll take a courtship with her for 6 months to a year, whatever you decide, just to see if we're compatible, sir. That's an honorable young man. That's a man of integrity. That's how a Hebrew man is supposed to proceed in taking a wife. But you got a lot of brothers. We already got a wife. We got one wife already. And we seeking another wife. We forget all about those principles. We all up in the sister inbox all day and night, busting up these long conversations. Some of us is sending naked pictures back and forth. We totally disrespecting everything pertaining to respect, honor, and integrity. And like she said, we're proud about it. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. A man of integrity moves in his integrity at every opportunity. He approaches the woman's father. He says, sir, you might not know me or you might not like me. I don't know how it is, but I really want to take your daughter as a wife. I admire her. I respect her. I think she's very intelligent. And plus, she tickles me when I look at her. What you mean she tickle you? That means I like the way she look. Yeah. You know what I mean? All that stuff matters when a man picks a wife. Let's be real. In reality, most men pick a wife because they're attracted to them physically before they even get to know them. Now let's say this. Once you're attracted to her physically, and then you get to know her, you court her for 6 months to a year, there's always the option to say, no, I don't want you to be my wife. Long as you haven't violated her along that time. If you violated her prior to making her your wife, then you really ain't got no grounds to stand on and she's your wife. Period. You have to take her as your wife. And if you don't, then that means you have dealt deceitfully with her. Because a woman only gives herself to that which is supposed to be her husband. So if you took them jewels and you had fun, but yet you didn't penetrate her, you've deceitfully violated her. If you don't marry her, then you're in violation. Okay? Let's talk about wife purchases. Much more common than wife capture, when you take them as a slave. But at a later stage of cultural development was wife purchase, when a man would pay for a woman. He would buy her. What does that mean, a wife purchase? I mean, think about it, fam. If a man is truly the master of his wife, that means he owns her. That means if you own her, where'd you buy her from? If you didn't make her, then you had to pay something to obtain her. Even if she was married before, you still have to pay something to make her your wife. And a lot of us, we skip right past that. We pay that no mind. We don't even think about those things. But these are things that were real in our culture. It occurs particularly in societies in which the institution of slavery developed and the concept of property in persons emerged. It was especially instrumental in developing polygyny and the patriarchal form of the family. Many survivals of wife purchases still exist. And think about this for a minute, fam. Think about this for a minute. Let me ask you this. The bag of potato chips that you paid for versus the bag of potato chips that you found, which one of them holds the most value to you?
What you paid for?
The ones you spent your money for holds the most value. So when you spend your money for something, you tend to treat it differently. So if this father puts a price that you had to go out and actually work for or get your money together to purchase that woman in exchange, you're going to hold that much more dear to you than the woman that you met around the corner at the speakeasy, at the bar, at the go-go joint. First of all, if you meet the woman at the bar or the go-go joint, the first thing in your mind is her quality is less. But if you got a woman that says, well, you got to go talk to my father if you want to marry me, automatically her value increases in your level of understanding. She just went up a couple of notches. Even if you met her in the go-go joint and the first thing she say to you is, if you want to meet me, you got to go talk to my father. She's a little bit higher than the regular go-go girl. It's still not a good place to meet a chick. But even if you met her in the go-go joint and she says, well, before I can be yours, you got to meet my Abba. You got to go talk to my Abba. Everybody got a pass. But her present is saying, I'm about discipline and order. That should mean a lot to you. So sisters, what I'm really trying to say is, you need to get up, beef your game up. Step up your game some. When these brothers come to you and they be in your inbox, listen, bro, I know you word Shabbat, Shalom, all that stuff. Leave all that stuff alone. Why are you really in my inbox? Just be like that. Why are you really in my... Well, I'm really in your inbox, sis, because I wanted to see if I can get to know you a little better. Get to know me a little better for what end? For what purpose? I want to get to know you a little better to see if you would mind if I wanted to have you as a wife. First thing you say after that, sis, 247-777-0999. This is my father's number. Call my father. If you approve of it, call my father. If you disapprove of it, sis, say, nah, bro, I ain't with it. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I ain't having it. And he should, if he a real man and he got some integrity, he going to leave you alone from that day forward. He might every once in a while pop up and say shalom to you, but he's going to respect you. He's going to honor you as such. Just be like, yo, bro, we ain't having that. You keep popping up in my inbox. What do you want? Stop. What's up? For real, for real. What you trying to do? You trying to have me as a wife? Yes or no? If he says no, then why are you in my box? Stay out my box. If I want to hear your message, I'll come on your live. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Sure, it's just that simple. If the brother say, yes, I'm interested in getting to know you a little better, I want to see if we can do a little courtship thing, then you pass him your pop number or your spiritual leader number or anybody in charge of you as a man. And that's how you do that. That's how you get it over. All right, let me get back to my lesson. I got so much I wanted to share with y'all. I might not get it all out this week. I might have to come back next week. You know what? I'm going to shut it down right here, and we're going to take question and answers, because I promised y'all we would have a period of question and answers. We've been teaching now for 2.5 hours. I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to take the question and answers now. And then Creator willing, next week, we'll get to revisit the rest portions of the class, okay? So now is the time, family.
You want the sister's question?
Yeah.
Earlier? Okay, let me find it.
That's right.
I don't even know if she's...
That's right, bro. You are absolutely, who's that, Moray? Yeah, that's Moray. Moray, you right on point. That explanation is exactly right. That sister had value in her father's home. And when you take that value from his home, he's going to be suffering a little bit. So you need to compensate him for that daughter. That's only right. Whatever it is that he says that value is.
some reason it won't go back to her message because I guess it's so far up.
It's so
But
far up.
she asked about, I remember her question was basically about, isn't divorce against the Most High's will?
All right. So now we're going to take the questions and we're going to try to provide answers if the Creator allows it. In Yotze Yotze, we're going to provide the answers if the Most High allows it. So if you have any questions, now it's time to type them in the room. So the one sister, I think it was Nat's wife. Was it Nat's wife? Who was it?
Another sister. I can't remember her name. But
Okay.
She's not on here all the time.
Some sister a long time ago had asked a question about, is it against the law?
She's right here, Nava. Yeah.
Nava, was that you, Nava?
Yeah, it was her.
All right, cousin. Marie Granger. I got you, baby girl. I got you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I've been checking you out, seeing that you've been coming in every week too. I appreciate that. I pray that I'm helping to educate you a little bit in how to choose a mate. I pray that I am. So Nava, can you repost your question or rephrase your question so I can address your question? Because your question was very important. It was a very good question. All right, fam. So write your questions in the room so we can entertain your questions so you can possibly get the answers that you are in search of. Nava, do you remember your question?
For some reason it won't come up. I'm trying to...
Yeah, well, maybe she remembers it. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to do it again next week. We're going to pick up where we left off next week. Creator willing. Always Creator willing. All right, let's see what she at. What's she saying? We're going to deal with this until the sister gets her question up.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah, read Antoinette's question, please.
Antoinette, Antoinette said, would that also refer to the silver paid to the father when, when a man takes his daughter, virtue, and claims her not, but says she...
Yes, he had to pay for that.
Okay.
He had to pay for that. You're absolutely right, sis. Thank you for bringing it out.
Also, hold on.
That's right, for disrespecting their father's home.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good analogy. I appreciate that. I think Kayella's next.
She said, if the woman has a covering, would the man who pursues her have to pay her covering for her? Also, would the woman give the brother her covering number if she agrees with the courtship?
Would the sister give the brother her coverings number? Yeah, she should.
Well, her first question is...
I know, I'm trying to think about that one.
Okay.
I don't know if a covering is the same as a father. I can't say that the covering is the same as you having a father. I would really have to think about that one and try to find some scriptures to support that. Yes, I have to say yes. And the reason why I say yes is because in Genesis 24, I believe it was, when we read about Rachel didn't live with her father. Right. Rachel lived in her uncle's house. And a portion was paid for her to the family as well as what was paid to her. So I guess yes. I guess it would be, he would have to pay the covering as well. So that's possible. I would say that's a possible yes.
Okay. And then, okay, that was, okay. Shavanya, can the Most High never forgive you for something bad you did, even if you repented?
That's the Most High's decision. I can't answer that. I'm not qualified to speak on behalf of the Most High in the realms of forgiveness. I only know what the Most High says. And the Most High says that there's nothing that he won't forgive you for. In the 18th chapter of Ezekiel, the 18th chapter, verse 20, 21, 22, and 23, the Most High says that the man that committed evil, all he needs to do is confess his evil and change from his wicked ways, and the Most High will forgive him as long as he never revisits that evil again. All right? So, Shavana, that's your answer there.
Brother Azaria says, can you please explain Deuteronomy 24:1 concerning the uncleanness of a woman? Okay.
Deuteronomy 24:1 pertaining to the uncleanness of a woman. Anybody who has their scriptures, please turn there, please. We're going to address that issue. Deuteronomy 24:1 addresses a man who finds an uncleanness within his wife that he decides she's unclean, she's not worthy, now he's going to divorce her. What that means is that if it's something pertaining to this woman that is unrighteous, unbefitting of a wife in her behavior, her attitude or conduct, and you've spoken to her, you've dealt with her, you've counseled her, but she refuses to change her actions, then the last resort you can do is get that uncleanness, get that sin out of your house. Right. Now, we're not talking about because she's unclean, like she don't clean the dishes on time like you want, or she didn't make your bed at a certain hour like you want. If you divorce a woman for those things, then you're an abomination to the Creator. That's not how this thing is supposed to go down. Uncleanness pertains to the laws of the Almighty. If she's uncleanness in her duties and responsibility as a righteous, virtuous woman, then a man is able to divorce her. If she goes out, if she got a habit where she bring home different men's phone numbers from work every day, and you say, hey, well, what's this? She causing the suspicion in your mind, then there's a process that you can take her through in Numbers, the 5th chapter. You can take her through a process of jealousy to see if she's done some type of trespass. But if this woman has earned within your spirit that you can't trust her, you can't live with a woman that you can't trust. Because you as a man will go crazy. You'll start tapping her phone. You'll start following her. You'll start doing all types of things. So alleviate the suspicion of doubt. Give her a bill. If you can't deal with her, if you can't trust her. If not, you will end up hurting her. You'll try to command her to do what you want her to do. You'll get physical with her. It'll just be so ugly. You could end up going to jail. You could end up losing your life. It creates a nasty relationship. If a woman is not giving up you freely, then you don't need to get anything from that woman. Your woman should give unto you of her own volition.
Okay. Next question is a quote by Hashim. If he does not provide, protect, or instruct that wife, can she go free?
She can go free, but she has to bring him before the leadership. She has to have a hearing before the judges to have a discussion as to why she wants to be freed. If he's not providing these things, they have to have a conversation between their leadership. And if he refuses to have conversation between leadership, the leadership can inquire. And if he refuses to humble himself before leadership, the leadership can grant the woman a bill. It's just that simple.
Okay.
All right?
Moresh Shema says, it's a rhetorical question for you, Prince. I know the answer, but many may not. What if the man doesn't have the amount the father requests? Could he do something similar to what Yaakov did? He can do whatever the father agrees upon. If he doesn't have the amount, if you come for one of my daughters, I want 100 million. If you ain't got 100 million, then we have to renegotiate. I'm going to go for the sky, even if I only get a stone. We're going to negotiate. You know what I mean? A righteous man will negotiate with you. A reasonable man should negotiate with you because he may be asking for something that's beyond most people's ability. So if he is, then you can go and you can reconsider and maybe the man will have conversation with you and figure out something that you can work on. Okay. Nava's question, she came back, she found her question. She said, is divorce not going against the oath made to the Creator? How do you make that broken oath forgiven without receiving a curse for the broken oath?
What broken oath?
So
what was the oath that you made before the Creator that you made to what?
I guess, some people consider when you have a marriage ceremony and you're giving your vows, that's an oath. People, not to break their vows.
Okay, sis. That would, no, it's cool. That would depend on who you are. If you're the man, then you got to bear that problem. That's between you and the Creator. If you are a woman, then that guilt falls on the hands of your husband or your father or whoever's head over you at that particular time. If you're married to a man and you decide you no longer want to be married to that man, and this is what I'm assuming you're saying, and y'all get a divorce, you have broken the oath that you made to be his wife. I'm assuming that's what you're saying. So if you two cannot make a way to make this happen, the Creator has made a provision in the law where you can have a divorce and there was no bloodshed, no loss, or nothing if your husband decides to give you a bill. There's a way to do it. So no, it wouldn't be like you're breaking the covenant because you're in a relationship with an unbearable person. No, you wouldn't be breaking any covenant or any oath before the Almighty. But let me make this absolutely clear. Please, family, I need you to understand beyond a shadow of a doubt, the Most High hates divorce. He absolutely despises divorce. He would prefer that y'all work your problem out and get along and live together and stay and remain married than to get a divorce. But the reality is that sometimes it won't work. So therefore, if it won't work, then he gave you a reason, a way to have a woman or a man removed from you in the law. Okay?
Well, a couple of them are just comments, but I think Koti Antoinette was saying like Hadassah was with Mordecai, how he was her covering. Yes. And like an uncle, and then she was saying the father is the highest regard. Yes. And then Koti Kaila was saying she asked that because she asked about paying the covering because she may add values to his life and work for him as well, like she would for her father.
That's right.
Another question is Akoti Bahashin said, what chapter and verse requires leadership? I'm not sure. Oh, she's saying when you answer her question about can a woman walk?
Okay, Deuteronomy the 17th chapter, verse 8. Bahashim. Deuteronomy the 17th chapter, verse 8 starts where, if there arrive a matter between blood and blood, plea and plea, and stroke for stroke. Okay?
And another brother Ramir asked if, I'm sorry, comments are just coming.
Nava says something about marriage. What is that?
Huh?
Nava, she put something.
She just typed in marriage. I don't know.
Okay. Nava, sis, you got to elaborate a little bit on that. Ramir?
He said, if your neighbor divorces his wife, can you cover that wife as yours?
Well, you got to be careful, man. Because, you know, I'm saying this because a lot of brothers use covering as a way of saying, I'm courting you. That's not what a covering is. A covering is not a courtship. And you got to be careful with that. If you're going to cover the woman, then you cover her. If you're going to court the woman, then you court her. Yep. It's just that simple. Make it clear as to what you're doing. Because when you're covering her, you're protecting her in hopes that another man will find her and come to you to take her and do it the proper way. You're making sure that she has everything that she needs in her life. You know, you're making sure that everything about her, her mind is focused the way it needs to be focused. She's making the correct moves in her life, and the decisions in her life is going the way that it's supposed to go for a more fruitful and beneficial life. And that she's being prepared properly to one day have a husband. And it ain't you if you're covering her. Right. But if you're courting her, then that's a totally different scenario. You still do all those things, but you do it with the intentions of her being yours. It's a difference. Okay? Moray Shema said Numbers 30. Yeah, we covered that a little bit. Sometimes there is not other opinions. I don't know what that means.
She was just talking about when she asked about does the Most High forgive you if you do something and you repent? She's saying sometimes people say he doesn't forgive you. And
I'm telling you what the law, the Creator says in the scriptures, that he didn't put an exception on what he would not forgive you for. Okay? The Most High says if a man committed evil all of his days, and then one day come to the Creator and ask for forgiveness, that he will forgive him as long as he changed and turned from his evil ways.
Nava said she wrote marriage as her answer when you previously asked about the oath. When she said when you have an oath. Okay. And then Brother Ramirez said Torah.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else got any questions they want to ask about, they want to talk about? Come on, y'all, let's move. Let's get it done. We here. Absorb it. If not, I can keep teaching. No, I ain't going to keep teaching. We're going to get this thing done and postpone it to next week if y'all don't have any more questions. So once again, I want to thank my brother. If you can see my nice little bracelet with the little crown on it. See a little crown on it, crown it. Nice black. But bro, I need a larger size though, man. It's too small. Moray Shema, he makes these. Thank you, Moray. I need one a little bit bigger, man. I don't like wearing a little tight thing, cut your circulation off. You know? Yeah, that's where I'm at, man. You got to make me rich. You want one of my children. Maybe that's why they ain't waiting. Everyone should be required to listen to these teachings before being allowed to marry. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. I would never do intentionally evil. I love the Creator. Make it clear. I would never do intentional evil. Okay. But we speaking about what you've done in the past, sis. We've all done things that were not pleasing to the Most High.
Yep, now we gotta do better.
So that's why he ain't waiting.
He's laughing at what you said.
Yeah. All right, so are there any other questions, fam? Anybody, anything? Let's go. Let's see what we got. All right, first thing I want to acknowledge is this. You're right, sis. First thing I want to acknowledge is this. We have more people in the room today than we had in a very long time. And I haven't done it on my own. That has come because you all, through the Creator's blessings, you all went out, shared the page, and invited people to come in to be a part of this conversation. Because I didn't share the page with anybody today. So you all have done that. You all have made that a great success. I pray that next week we have double this amount. You know, Sisters Antoinette, I know how you get down. She didn't probably put a watch, what's that? What's watch? Watch what? A live watch, whatever she be doing. A watch party and invited 50 million people. I know how she get down. I'm thankful. So a covering can never become the husband, correct? Yes, a covering can become the husband. The covering can become the individual's husband. He could. So yeah, established from the beginning.
Yeah.
Should be. All right. Are there any other questions?
I wanted to say, like, I know that some people may think it's unrealistic to ask for a huge or a large amount for a daughter, but I think even if the large amount is unattainable for that man, it just gives him a sense, a mental understanding of the value that daughter plays in that family and where that father places his daughter. So he understands the value of that child because, like so many people have said, she may be adding to his family, but even if she wasn't adding to the family in like cooking and stuff, but she was trained, especially if she had a great mother.
Right.
She was trained to be a phenomenal wife because her mom, her Ema was. So the money value isn't always to scare a man off, but it's to also show like this is the level of where I expect a man to treat my daughter and to be. And when he comes, this is the level where he should be coming.
Gotta come correct. Gotta come correct. Yeah, so like I was saying, I want to thank you all for making this a success as it was, you know, for your participation, your questions, your comments, and all the things that you've done. Prince couldn't have done this on his own. He don't do it on his own. This is the most that we've had all year in the room for a long time, for a substantial amount of time. We had a nice little group here today, and I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and I'm appreciative. I pray that we can continue to keep those numbers up and even get those numbers higher. But more importantly than the numbers of people that appears into the room is the people who learn from the message and apply the message to their lives and change their behavior. That's most important. Okay? That's most important. All right? What? Moray. Moray. I'm laughing because I don't have a million for no one. Ha ha ha. But I'm asking for $1 million for my future daughter. Okay, there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you get your million. I was laughing. Okay, that's how you get it. Her price is worth far above rubies. You're right. Your spirit was different, and it attracted more people. Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay. Well, I pray my spirit continues to be different and attract millions and millions and millions of people. She's talking about because she here this week. I pray that it attracts millions and millions and millions of people every week. But like I said, more importantly than letting people just hear the message, it's important that people apply the message, the teachings, to their lives. Now, I want to make a couple things known. I want to make a couple things because I want you to remember some things. We have a brother who has a nice class in the morning on Shabbat, and they also do classes during the week. It's Shomrei Habrit. And what's the brother's name who do that? Thank you. I just wanted to make sure you was on point. Yeah, I see. Morey Yiftach, brother from New York, good brother. He has a class that he does through the week and on Shabbat. And I would like for you all, if you can, just keep the brother in mind to go check out his classes. We also have Sister Kokavia. What's the name of her class?
It's the Face the Land.
Face the East?
No, Face the Land.
Face the East, isn't it? Face the Land?
I'm going to it.
Prayer call. And they have that every morning. And they also have it on Shabbat. Face the Land. Sister Kokavia and Sar Neiman have that class. These are other things that you can join yourselves into that's really knowledgeable people, brothers and sisters, teaching. We have a Hebrew Academy that we do every Shabbat morning. It's called our Banim Academy. Moreh Shammai is actually one of the teachers there. That we do every Shabbat morning from the hours 11 to 12, but they don't stop. They just keep on going. Where they teach the children all kind of wonderful things. They're special classes, believe me. And we also have classes that we teach throughout the week 3 times a day. If anybody's seeking this information, you can contact me or Moreh Shammai, and we'll put you in touch with the links for the classes. So when these times come up, you can always just join in. And I don't do the teachings on these classes. These are all people that either come up underneath of my leadership one way or another, or we're all associated. It's like one happy family. It's that unity that I was telling you about. My children are there. Some of the brothers are there that I come up with. Moreh, Dr. Moreh Yoel, Sarabah, good brothers like that. One of my sons, Moreh Karutz, is one of the instructors there, one of the teachers. So what we do, fam, is that although I'm not physically teaching there, those teachings are teachings that you can live by. The standards that they teach are standards of righteousness. Nobody's perfect in anything that we do, but everything we try to do it with perfection in mind. Okay? I want you to inbox me, sis. Inbox me. You gave it to her?
I was about to, but
go ahead. You got it. You can do it. You can handle it. So send your inbox request, and we'll make sure you get the link so that any hours of these lessons so that you can call in and tie in, especially if you got children that you want to come up in this way, because with this lockdown, you can't go out to a lot of Knesset throughout the earth. There's a lot of different classes. So what you can do is you can just zoom in on your Zoom, on your Facebook, on your phone, on your computer, and you can participate in these classes. You can have your children participate in these classes, and you can learn some wonderful lessons. All right? Hit the sister and go to her inbox and send her a message so that y'all can, link up.
Okay.
All right?
Kokavia's is Face the Land.
Kokavi is just face the land.
Yeah, if they go on Facebook, they could just put in face the land.
If you go on Facebook, just type in face the land and it'll come up.
Yeah.
And with the brother Shomray Habrit, just type it in Shomray Habrit and it'll come up. Or you can put in his name. You can put in his name, Morey Yiftach, Y-E-P-H-T-A-K, I believe he spells it. How you spell it?
He spells it Y-E-F-A-T-H-A-K.
Y-E-F-A-P-H.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Yiftach.
Y-E-Y-A. So we trying to get the information. Here you go, Yiftach Dan. That's right.
Yeah.
That's his name. Just put that in, and you can go to his page, and you can be a part of that. Listen, I ain't got to lock nothing down. I'm only telling you people I know that's going to teach you righteous and positive messages. Places I know that I will go and sit down and learn and listen with and fellowship with. That if I go to their house, I can eat their bread. I can eat out of their refrigerator. I don't have a problem with those type of things because I know who they serve. These are the people that I'm suggesting you get down with. And we have another one called, what is it, babe? Yazway Banim Academy. Okay? I told you about that before, but anyway, you can just type in Yazway Banim Academy and you'll get the link. Or you can go to Dr. Morey Yoel's page, but leave off the doctor when you go to the Facebook. Just put Morey Yoel, and it'll come up also that you can get. Yoel is Y-O-E-L. Morey is M-O-R-E-H. Morey Yoel. And you'll get you go down his list, and all those advertisements will be on his list. But I also advertise a lot of those things on my page. I do. Yeah. And if you're also not a friend of us on Build Israel, we have a page called Build Israel, where we do a lot of these things, advertisement and soliciting a lot of things. You can always join the Build Israel page. And on the Build Israel page, as you go down the list, all of the things that we do are usually on that page. If you're not a member of Build Israel, hit me up in my inbox or something, or hit my Isha in her inbox, or Morey Shema, and we'll tie you in to Build Israel. Say it again? Oh yeah, we got the Goshen page. Goshen Ivri Community, E-V-R-I-T. Goshen Ivri.
It's I-V-R-I. No, that's how we spell it.
I-V-R what?
I-V-R-I Community.
I-V-R-I Community. Goshen I-V-R-I Community. And you can go there, send me a friend request, and I'll pull you in, make you a friend there as well. Now the Goshen Ivri Community is what the community that we have in Goshen in Sparta, Georgia. We got 200 and something acres of land down there in Sparta, Georgia, that we're building a Hebrew community. So we ain't just talking about it, we actually doing something. We're putting all this talk into motion. We have a Hebrew community that when the people are ready to really worship and serve the Creator to the best of our ability in the land of our captivity, you can all just come down there and live down there on the land with us. And we can do this thing together. We about this life, man.
If they go to my page, they'll see lives and stuff from you.
Yeah, we about this life. This is what we do. And if you're really serious about the Creator, we're not asking for you to be perfect. But if you're really serious about the Creator, then this is a place where you can be. You can walk with us, talk with us, breathe with us, and be a part of what we do. We don't mind sharing. Okay? I know you can. We're waiting for you. We are. Well, may the Most High be pleased. I thank you all once again for coming out and doing all the things that you've done this day, for exchanging information. Creator willing, next week we're going to be right back here at the same bat time, at the same bat channel. Be it the will of the Most High, Yotzeh. Are there any questions before we leave? Any questions? If you have a question, type it in the room. If not, we're going to end this portion of our presentation. Are there any questions? All right. No questions. All right. May the Most High be with you all until next Shabbat. Remember, family, we got Pesach coming up. Pesach, thus far, the new moon should be on the 15th. And if the new moon is on the 15th like it should be, Pesach will be all day the 29th of March.
And they can check the One Nation calendar.
We have a website where you can go to the OneNationCalendarCoalition.com, OneNationCalendarCoalition.com. Type that in the room, please. You can go to the OneNationCalendarCoalition.com website, and we have a whole list of the holy dates there for you. We also have the One Nation Calendar Coalition Facebook page. If you're not a friend of the page, send me a request or hit me up and let me know, and I'll send you out a link so you can become a friend, or I invite you into the page so you can become a friend of the One Nation Calendar Coalition.com. We're building a nation. We're building a nation. We're doing this thing, man. So we cover so many different avenues and so many different areas of life. What am I saying? Babe, type it in without the one on it and see if the website comes up.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying. Those places that I told you you can go out and get information that's good information and viable information that I trust, what I'm saying to you is each portion of the nation of Israel that's speaking truth, each one of those places play a different part in the development of us as a people. Each one. Type it as one word, babe. No space.
Facebook, it comes
One Nation Calendar Coalition.com. Yes. So what I'm saying is each one of these different communities play a different part in the development of our nation. And once we bring it all together, we're going to have that nation that we so long have been desiring. Okay? So may the Most High be pleased with us all. Giving all honor and praise unto the King, the great King of all creation. Shabbat Shalom Lekim. Did you have something to say?
I was about to say nation builders, but
Oh yeah, Nation Builders. We have another organization called the Nation Builders. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't want to forget that. And that's Moreh Shalim. Moreh Shalim is one of the greatest men in Israel today when it comes to the knowledge of living off of the land and how to do certain things. Moreh Shalim is it, believe me. He's one of those dudes. He's a highly respectable man in Israel too, in the form of leadership. That's right. He's a good dude, man. And if you can look him up, it's called Nation Builders. He's a part of that. And we all affiliated. We all work together in different areas to bring about one common goal. And that will be another place for you to go if you're interested in learning different things. Look him up on the page, Moreh Shalim. Moreh, S-H-A-L-E-E-M. Moreh Shalim. Ben Yaakov, that's right. Good dude, good brother, has a lot of vision. He's capable of doing so many things. This is all good, fam. This is all good. But that's what it takes to build a nation. So once we start pulling and utilizing our resources and bringing everything together, then that flag will go up like it's supposed to be, and we can say it with honor. May the Most High be pleased with you all. Shabbat Shalom Lekim.